Thank you very much for informing us. We are living in very interesting and uncertain days, but it will pass maybe in next month or maybe end of this year, and we will see more bright days. Therefore, we must be ready for the future. Hayes, the biggest recruitment company in the world, maybe in the universe, I don't know, they will tell us. And Ali and Jamie from Hayes are going to give some nice insights to us, because information is important. You will know everything, but if you are not able to present this knowledge in your resume, in your social media, Hayes will not aware of your presence. They don't they can't see you as a brilliant diamond, you know. And please, if it's possible, let's start with Hayes. I think everybody able to see our presentation, right?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, Cumhur.
That's perfect. Yes, Ali and Jamie, please introduce yourself and help us, our candidates, how they can be better in the social media and their CVs as well. Thanks.
So hello everyone out there, welcome to the talk. So my name is Alistair Britten. I lead the projects and change practice for Hayes, covering the London market. Currently working permanent, but I have also worked within the contract market.
Good morning, I'm Jamie. I manage our network engineering business for the London market. I've been with Hayes for 6 years and we work on both a contract and permanent basis.
So some of the topics we're going to cover for you today, the future of recruitment, social presence and building your own network, CV formatting, including how to highlight your technical skills, some interview tips and tricks, and then we'd like to open it up for a quick Q&A session. So the world is changing fast and you need to be prepared to keep up. So a few of the things that are going to be changing and are already in play, but will be even more as we move forwards. So AI and machine learning. Some key things to bear in mind are going to be keywords and clear formatting. So what do we mean by keywords? Keywords are what are going to get you noticed. Think like a Google search. The more a word is mentioned in the search and within the results, the higher it will be. That goes as much for job board searching as it does for an internet search. So thinking about your key skills. If, for example, you've worked with Cisco Meraki, it's important you've got it listed in your key skills as well as in each individual role that you've used it in. And that should hopefully bring your profile to a much higher level and give you the better opportunity. Now, clear formatting. As machine learning and AI are always going to be reading the text that's in there, it's important that it is in fact text. I have myself come across a couple of CVs that have been pasted images of a text format. Now, computer's not going to be able to pick that up, bring you to the top of the pile and give you that opportunity. So make sure you've got it well spaced out, spelling correct, and as I said, no images, and try and avoid some overcomplicated tables. You want to make it nice and easy for them to read. Now, virtual interviews and onboarding. There's going to be two main points to cover. There's going to be the preparation side, which we'll talk about in a few slides, but also dressing for your audience. Now, this isn't just about what you're wearing. It's also about your mindset. So what I want you to think about is if you're going for your final stage interview with the CEO, the critical moment of whether you're going to be given the job, what are you going to be talking about and how do you want him to view you? Now, on the flip side of that, if you've been given the job and they want to intro you to the team on a Friday night virtual drinks, try and have some relevant conversation ready, be in the kind of apparel that you're going to want to wear either in the office or be known for, and just keep nice and calm and be ready to make a good first impression. Now, the onboarding process is also going to become more virtual as we move forwards, but there's always going to be that need for physical interaction. So make sure that you are brushed up on having a good handshake, maintaining eye contact, and try and practice translating that across on a computer screen. Now, remote working. I'm sure there's a mix of first-timers and seasoned veterans out there, but as you well know, it's going to be even more important as we move forwards. Now, this is something that's been on the rise long before this current situation, but I think it's going to be fully cemented now as something that will be in a lot more jobs. It's also going to be a more important aspect for a lot of people job searching. So make sure you're identifying this on the specs, but also if it's not there or you're unsure, make sure you identify it early on in the process, either with the recruiter or with the hiring manager. So many companies are quickly changing on the remote working aspect. So Google, for example, have already said that they won't be coming back to the office for 2020, and Twitter has said that they will have remote working in place forever moving forwards. So now we're on to social presence and building the network. So here's a few LinkedIn tips and tricks for you. So remember, it's a professional profile. So as such, the picture and the content should reflect that. Have your key skills listed, description in each role, and make sure that it's nice and clear so whenever they have a question, they can go straight to the point that you want them to be looking at. Linking your CV can also be a great way of making it easy. Now, if you're not comfortable having your personal details out on a social media platform, especially if you're not job searching, perhaps have a version without those on there, but make sure you've got the key skills there and make it nice and easy. Now, obviously, LinkedIn is a social media platform, so the key is going to be building connections. So think about who you want to add. You don't want to add every single person in the world in every industry, but at the same time, you don't want to only add people that you know so well that you can ring them up and go for a bit. So make sure it's a diverse range. People who are in the same kind of industry, the same type of roles, or perhaps even leaders within your industries to keep yourself up to date. Now, LinkedIn is a great job searching tool, and it will keep you up to date with a lot of the relevant jobs up there. Make sure you've got those alerts set up, but with a range of different job titles. You never know what someone's going to call your dream job, and you don't want to miss out on that opportunity simply because you've not thought of it that way. Now, lastly, as I said, it's a social network, so be active. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing articles, and staying up to date and involved. This is going to make sure that anyone that goes onto your profile knows that you are still there. It's an active profile, and they're going to want to speak to you. So we can go to the next slide, Cumhur.
So next we're going to move on to your CV. Now, your CV is so important. It's the first thing any employer or HR manager will see about yourself. It's your personal marketing pitch. It can be reviewed quickly, normally by a non-technical person. So I need to make sure it's clear, concise, in the same font and format throughout. The two key takeaways from this slide I want you to understand is how to format your CV and the best way to market your technical skills. To start on the formats, you should always begin with a personal summary. It should be a brief overview of who you are, including your key strengths, your highest education or certification, it may be in this case, and tie in why you would like to apply for this role. The next part would be certifications. You guys work very hard to gain your certifications, so list them all. If they're expired or current, make sure you have that after each certification as well. It's important as well to add a skills summary. You can do this in a matrix. That's the best way of doing it, to list all your skills so any employer can see quickly and clearly what sort of skill set you've got on both a technical and a soft skill set approach. Employment history. I like to begin with a summary. So who are the company? What do they do? Give an understanding of the size of the business and why you were there. Certainly from a contract perspective, people like to understand what the reason was for your role there. So certainly include that in your piece. And where did you fit within the structure? Technology, include what different types of technology you used and what different versions they were. Now, from a technical perspective, I think this is probably the most important part. You need to quantify your responsibilities. Give an understanding of what skills you gained and what results you delivered. From a contract perspective, employers want to know if you can hit the ground running. So it's really important that you include what you delivered and the size of volume of work you produce as well. Also, give an understanding of the size of the team and where you sat within the structure within that organisation. Next slide, Andy.
So I've realised in my eagerness, I missed over speaking about the network aspect on the social networking side. So Cumhur, if you could just go back a couple of slides. So your network, this is for your physical network. Just as important as having a social media and having that social network out there is making sure that you're maintaining your past and present physical network. So try and think who this might be. This could be your managers, people you've previously worked with who perhaps know your specialist skill set, how you'd fit into the team, or perhaps they just know that you're the man or woman for the job and they just want to make sure that you are there for them. Perhaps it's an ex-colleague. Maybe they've moved up into a hiring position. Again, know your skill set, know what you're like as a person. They may well be looking for your, you may have your dream job on offer, or they may know someone who is looking for that skill set. So make sure that anyone you're interested in is aware of what you're looking for, and make sure that you're sending them jobs you think they'd be relevant to. Make it a two-way street. So recruiters. Now, as we've talked a lot about technology, you may be thinking, where are we going to fit in? There's always going to be an aspect of recruitment agencies being out there. There's always specialist skill sets that are very hard to find on the market and that take a long time to formulate these relationships. Now, this goes both for the businesses and for the client side. So what I'd suggest is build that relationship over a long time. If you find a job, having built a relationship with a recruiter, stay in touch with them. Even if it's once every few months, just checking in, saying, how's the market, how are things with you, or perhaps even grabbing a coffee. You never know when the dream job is going to come around, and they may be able to bring it to you just as you're starting to think about looking for your next role. So keep that in mind. Remember, we're all social people. We all love to have a quick chat, and a 5-minute conversation can go a long way in bringing you your dream job. So now we move on to the interview section.
Also, let me add, I agree with you completely, because it's human nature, they should use keep alive. We use networking terminology is called keep alive. That means I'm here, I'm still here, and they will say something, your birthday, hi, how are you, Ali, happy birthday, and we are doing this event, or would you like to have some coffee? And we are social animals. Yes, we love using WebEx or remote working, but we are going to return our real life, and we have to be keep in touch with you and your candidates, right?
Absolutely. So now the key bit. This can be a really big pitfall or a really big strength for people. So here's a few little tips and tricks just to keep you nice and calm and prepared for it. So the current situation is a first for us all. You may be experiencing virtual interviews for the first time, or again, maybe a seasoned veteran at them. Now, it was getting more popular before, but I think as a lot of businesses would have seen now, this is a great way of turning around roles very quickly, but also making sure, clearing you off for the initial soft skills side, should we say. So are you going to fit with the team? Do you communicate effectively? These are all things that they may be able to do with a quick virtual interview such as this, and then progress you onto the more technical rounds. So a few things around the camera setup when it's a virtual interview. You want to be centered in, you want to be put in the center of the screen, eyes level with the camera, and try and focus on the lens or the dot that will be right next to it. This is going to help you add that impact, making sure that they know whether it's a virtual or a physical interview or meeting, you can maintain that impact and level of engagement from both sides. So ideally a plain background. As you can see from here, I have one picture that's in the center that is nicely blocked by myself, so it won't be too distracting. So pets and children can often be a big distraction. I'm sure we've all seen, there you go. So I'm sure we've all seen interviews where, videos where someone's been doing an interview, or the BBC News thing from a couple of years ago where his wife and child had to run in to grab them. So try and keep them closed in different rooms. Make sure that your phone is on silent, something I mistakenly forgot to do earlier today. But we don't want anything that's going to take away from you as the main focus. So as part of that, if you're halfway through your pitch, you're selling yourself, you're doing a great role, doing a great job of it, and then your laptop suddenly dies, you've suddenly lost a lot of impact there. So you want to make sure that your laptop's fully charged or at least plugged in, and that it's going to be working all technically fine. So make sure you're testing all the equipment, the software, perhaps even just calling a friend, making sure that they can hear you and see you clearly. Make sure this is done well before the start time, so if there are any issues, you can fix them. And lastly, make sure you're in, sorry. And so when it comes to the actual interview stage, this goes for whether it's virtual or physical. The who, the what, and the where are going to be key. Now we want to link in the why into each of these sections. So when we start with who is going to be interviewing you? Have you done your research on their backgrounds? Perhaps you started at the same place, you've worked at a similar company, or perhaps a previous colleague has worked within their team and is going to be able to put in a good recommendation. You never know what the small word in their ear is going to do, and it can be the decider whether you get the job or whether they move with someone else. So what experience are they going to be asking you about? Have you seen on the spec there's a specific technology or skill set that you think you are proficient or very strong in that you want to talk about? Make sure you're brushed up on that. Are there any technologies, processes, or any methods that you feel maybe you should just have a small brush up before you do? Make sure you've got those examples ready for the roles, and be prepared to be put on the spot. You want to be able to come across nice and calm when they're putting you on the spot with these technical questions, because they know you're then confident and ready to lead or be in that team and act effectively. So the where. The where is going to be where have you developed your skill set? Now this goes for soft skills and technical skills, and you want to remember that dates, the people, and what the projects or even the BAU work was focusing on. You need to have these examples ready and know exactly where they were done, and perhaps even talking about where you took on more responsibility. This is a great idea if you're looking to go into a more management level position or lead, or perhaps even just thinking further down the road, I identified here, I wanted to do more, so this is why I'm looking for my new role to gain more responsibility. So I hope these have all been helpful. We'd like to open it up for a quick Q&A session. So if you've got any questions, please send them on the chat function, and myself and Jamie will answer them for a little bit.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alistair and Jamie. And I hope, and I'm sure, these insights will help, help our candidates and friends to find their dream job and more well-paid job in their life. Thank you very much again for joining us. And now we are going to continue with Ivo. Ivo works in Cisco Meraki, and as you gave an example, I think she created brilliant CV and accepted by Meraki. Ivo is going to share very valuable information about Wi-Fi 6. As you know, we are very connected. You know, our phone is connected, our tablet, our watch, our refrigerator, and our wearable devices. And that means we need more bandwidth on the air, and we need more reliable connection, and in our home, in our hotel, or in our workspace. And Ivo, please join us and share your information why we need Wi-Fi 6. And
thank you.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start by sharing my screen.
Yes, please. Nice background. Nice background. Is it real or not? I see lots of Meraki equipment.
Yes, it is very real.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ivo Mihaylov. I am a systems engineer. I work in Cisco Meraki in the pre-sales team. So to answer the question about Wi-Fi 6, and this is where we're going to start today. After all, I work for Meraki. So who Meraki is? Our mission is to simplify powerful technology to free passionate people to focus on their mission. And if you look at all of our products, you'll see that this is visible everywhere. From the dashboard that we use to manage all our equipment, everything managed from one single interface within your web browser, to all our products that we're going to look at as well. So how did we get where we are now? Well, where are we exactly? We have over 2.5 million live networks at the moment. We have over 500,000 active dashboard network administrators These are network engineers that are constantly working in dashboard, administering and monitoring those networks for all customers. Huge amounts of data going through our networks, over 120 petabytes of data per day. And obviously that is continually rising, and that is why we need Wi-Fi 6 to be able to accommodate the traffic that comes from all these connected devices. And these connected devices, currently we have over 100 million devices connected to Meraki equipment on daily basis. So this is over 800,000 wireless networks powered by Meraki equipment. And we have over 270,000 active customers that have Meraki equipment and continue running all their full stacks with Meraki hardware. So we have 85% of cloud Wi-Fi market share. So we are the leader in that industry. The reason we continue growing is first, again, looking at our mission, which is to simplify powerful technology to free passionate people to focus on their mission. But we are also API enabled, which means that our products and our features are developed with API approach first, meaning that they provide integrations.
Let me tell you something. When I checked our attendee list, I see lots of programmers, and it's very useful to know these APIs. They can use and create different kind of software. Also, they can sell in marketplace, right?
Absolutely, that's a very useful skill these days. The latest certification that Cisco launched is DevNet Associate. That's a new power that is available.
About that also.
Fantastic. It's available now because it's very relevant skill that everybody should have, or at least striving to achieve at some point in their professional life. So we have over 25 million API calls per day. That is constantly rising, and that is enabling integrations and functionality that is not available in the dashboard, so that anything that anyone can think of can be done via programmability. But moving on to the wireless landscape, why do we actually have to think about this? Well, first of all, high density environments are changing. People are bringing more and more devices to the business. On average now, we get 2.5 devices per person when it comes to a working environment. This is a laptop, this is a mobile phone. Some people might have two, and people might have a smartwatch or a tablet. And this is not what we used to see 10 years ago, let's say, or even 5. And this is what's going to continue rising because of the Internet of Things. So all these IoT devices that keep coming to the market, and we start putting into our buildings, making them smarter, making them connected. This is sensors, this is for humidity, temperature, whether the door has been opened or closed. This is presence. All of these devices need to connect to a network, and wireless is what is going to connect these devices. So we need a network that is going to be able to scale to that level and provide that reliable connectivity. And of course, we all start thinking about, well, when I'm connected, what am I going to do on that network? And people just have different needs these days. We're streaming video, which is going up to 8K these days from some service providers. We're streaming music as well. We're streaming events like this one today, where everyone joined us. We started seeing emergence of virtual reality technologies as well. these are technologies that require high throughput, very low latency, and this Wi-Fi standards are just not built with that in mind. We need to think about how do we provide that connectivity. We have a nice comparison over here, two charts. If we look at the one on the left first, about data throughput. So you see on the graph, here we have throughput, and at the bottom we have user count. So we see Wi-Fi 6 is plotted on a graph in green, and Wi-Fi 4 and Wi-Fi 5 are in red and dark blue. So we can see how when the number of users connected to a wireless network grows, the actual throughput that is available to these users decreases. So the more users you have connected, the less bandwidth you can allocate to them, so the less service they can get from the network. With Wi-Fi 6, however, this is not the case. You continue connecting users, of course, thinking about the limitation of the hardware itself, but you continue increasing the user connected to the access point, but the throughput that each of them can get remains pretty constant and stable. When it comes specifically to voice, not just for data, then we actually see Wi-Fi 6 on the graph on the right in green and Wi-Fi 5 in blue. So again, latency increasing from the bottom to the top of the graph, and the client count increasing from the left-hand side towards the right-hand side. So when the client count increases, clients connected to an access point, we see how the latency starts growing quickly. And when we talk about voice, anything that's over 100 milliseconds goes over the best practices for voice quality calls available on a wireless network. So we see that this number actually gets about 40. However, with Wi-Fi 6, we can continue connecting clients to the same access point. And if we assume that 80 is a reasonable number of devices connected to a high-density Wi-Fi 6 access point, then we still see that the access point provides latency levels well below the Cisco best practice recommended latency for voice networks. So that is why Wi-Fi 6 is really important these days. What does it actually give us as a technology? We get throughput of up to 4.8 gigabits per second. We get support for these high density environments where we can keep connecting devices to the same access point. We get enhanced reliability by the increased number of radios in these access points. Wi-Fi 6 access points can have up to 8 receiving, 8 transmitting radios with 8 spatial streams. That affects the reliability and enhances this for everyone connected. And a new technology in Wi-Fi 6 enables longer battery life on Wi-Fi 6 enabled devices, which is up to 67%.
It is very important. You know, everybody suffers and struggles with their battery, and it will drop within day, maybe less than day. And also it's a good effect on the end user side as well.
It is, but this number is driven also by the increase in battery life of the connected IoT devices. We know that these sensors can be really tiny, but they still need to have a battery inside. And everyone expects this battery is going to last years, not months or days. So in order to increase the efficiency of the battery, we need to work on improving the efficiency of the wireless technology. So with Wi-Fi 6, now we can tell devices, it's okay to go to sleep for a longer period of time because I don't expect any data for you. In comparison to Wi-Fi 5 and previous standards where devices have to periodically check at very short intervals. Is there any data for me? This means that you have to wake up, consume battery power, hear that there is nothing for them, and then go back to sleep. So this is where we see this massive increase in battery life. And the benefit of Wi-Fi 6 are not only for Wi-Fi 6 clients. We see that legacy clients, which is everything that is not Wi-Fi 6, is still going to benefit from the increased number of radios. This is because they're going to get higher throughput upstream and downstream. And this is because they're going to get higher reliability due to the fact that there are more radios and the air contention is going to be lower. So they have to wait shorter interval for their turn to come, for them to transmit or receive data. Of course, there are technologies like OFDMA that comes with Wi-Fi 6 only, target wake-up time, which helps actually the battery life, and multi-user MIMO that are only going to be available to Wi-Fi 6 clients. Part of the target wake-up time of DMA and the increased radio number, Wi-Fi 6 actually brings a very long awaited upgrade to the 2.4 GHz spectrum. Wi-Fi 5 skipped the 2.4 GHz spectrum and only made improvements and upgrades to 5 GHz. So now this is a very welcome change. We also see 1024 QAM available, which means that we can increase the amount of data that is transmitted. And a new technology, BSS coloring, which is very easy to think about having multiple conversations in two separate rooms. With current Wi-Fi technologies, if a conversation in room A can be overheard by the participants in room B, then when they hear the conversation from room 1, they will have to stop talking or listening until the conversation in room A finishes, so that they can get their own turn and speak, which means transmit and listen and receive. And the same way, everyone in room A would be affected. With Wi-Fi 6 and BSS coloring, now we can ignore conversations that are not part of this room or that are not happening on this access point, because we have an element in the data that is making it easy for everyone to understand this is not my conversation. I can completely ignore it and I can continue my own. Final comparison between Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 5 and all the benefits. So Wi-Fi 6 is actually high throughput and high efficiency. High efficiency is the key word over here. Upgrades in 2.4, downlink and uplink OFDMA, channels of 160 megahertz. We're reducing the guard interval. We're changing it to up to 3200 milliseconds. 1024 QAM, get wake up time and BSS coloring. Really big improvements on technology. So what use cases are available for Wi-Fi 6 where the most benefit is going to be seen? Well, enterprise, of course. We all need to go to work and connect to the wireless network to be able to do the work that we're supposed to at work. And that might include voice and video, conferencing, voice over Wi-Fi. And we looked already how important the Wi-Fi 6 network is for voice network when we need to think about the latency. There's a large conference rooms, which are the high density environments that Wi-Fi 6 is built for. We need to support the number of devices that everyone brings to the office and wants to connect to the enterprise network. Because Wi-Fi networks are growing, and this is actually impacting the radio frequency environment in our smart office buildings. So it creates a more challenging environment for wireless networks, and Wi-Fi 6 really can shine here because of the technologies that it brings, like ESS coloring, for example. And we need to future-proof these campuses as well. Another example, manufacturing, also high-density environments, but they also bring in new applications like IoT devices, where the manufacturing process becomes smarter and more independent of being operated by a specific user. This means that the requirements for wireless network just continues growing. And if these smart devices in manufacturing can't connect to a wireless network, then everything stops. So wireless becomes mission critical. Classrooms, auditoriums, lecture rooms, and stadiums, all these very high density environments where we have many users together in a very small space. Some of them streaming video at the same time or doing interactive video education courses. Wi-Fi 6 is perfectly positioned to provide the connectivity to these to these environments, so that education and entertainment can provide connectivity to everyone. What Meraki is bringing to the market, currently we have 3 indoor Wi-Fi 6 certified access points, MR36 for general use access point with 2x2 radius, MR46 with double the number of radius, multi-gig interface on the LAN with 2.5 gigabits per second over standard Cat6 copper interfaces, and the very high density MR56 with 8 receiving 8 transmitting radius, multi-gig interface again with speed of up to 5 gigabits per second over the standard Cat6 cables. A couple of days from now, on May the 19th, we will have 2 outdoor access points available as well for general use with 2x2 radius, and for higher density outdoor environments with 4x4 radius and multi-gig interface on the LAN side as an uplink as well. And we're bringing an indoor access point with external radius for those challenging indoor environments where an access point just cannot be installed from the required distance from the floor, for example, where you can't mount it on a ceiling at all, and it has to be mounted maybe on a wall or somewhere else hidden. A few technologies that Meraki brings to the market I'm going to cover now. The first one is wireless health. What happens is all our access points are cloud managed, and all of them are continuously connected to the management interface, which is dashboard. Excuse me. What they're doing is they're constantly communicating data to the cloud about the state of the connections for all of the clients, and feed this data into Meraki wireless health technology that is available to everybody that has a Meraki wireless network. What this does is breaks down the complete connection process from the moment that a device tries to associate with an SSID, moving on to authentication, DHCP, DNS verification that we can actually reach DNS server, and then final stage success determined by the fact that we can actually pass traffic. So each of these phases is monitored per every client, reported into dashboard, and now we can see, without speculating what could be broken, where exactly a failure might be occurring. We're looking at an access point here, for example, and we see that we have 58% failed connections, which is 12% down over the last 7 days. We're seeing the SSID, which is the problematic one, specifically in that case. So the Blizzard SSID is reporting here 62% failures, and the primary failure is occurring on the authentication stage. However, the Meraki Corp SSID is seeing only 29% failures, and that is on the authentication stage again. And a breakdown here is, we see that 96% of the connections are successful at authentication, at association, but on the authentication stage, we see 37% failures. And I know that this is the Meraki San Francisco network, and the reason that we see this number of failures is because we need to change our passwords really often. People just forget what their passwords are, or maybe they type them incorrectly when they're prompted for the new passwords on their devices. And that is what's causing them to, that's what's preventing them from connecting to a wireless network. But there's no need to speculate what could be wrong. There's no need for troubleshooting at all. There's no need for a packet capture or asking anyone to reproduce these failures so that we can start investigating what could be wrong. We already know just by going into the dashboard and seeing what exactly is the failure. Really powerful technology that is available to everybody. On an access point, we get these logged as well. So what we can see is again a breakdown of what happened. And if we see the first one here is client MAC address, but it could as well be the client's name. And the client failed to authenticate to the radio server. Second one, client made a request to the HTTP server, but it did not respond. So we know exactly the reason for the failure, which is, again, Meraki simplifying technology to allow passionate people, which is the network administrators, all these network engineers, to do their job instead of just troubleshooting issues that are really difficult to reproduce. And this is also available on the client side. So we're looking at a specific device over here, and we see that this device, the most problems that it's had for the last week is the HCP on the Meraki guest SSID, on access point that is named 7.5, that is on the 7th floor. See a breakdown of the device connectivity throughout the full stack. So we see on the wireless spectrum, everything's good. The access point itself is good. Between the access point and the switch, we can see how the connection is working, what is the packet counts, how are the devices connected together, up to the core and to the security appliance until the device leaves the network. And the same very familiar already graph for the specific client. So really break down for the specific client only, what experience is the client getting? After all, what everybody is asking for these days is not just technology and features and things that you can configure and see. It is, what kind of service are we providing? What is the end user experience? We want a great user experience so that users, everyone in the office can continue doing their job without interruption. And if there is interruption, we need to know immediately and fix it as quickly as possible if it is something that we can do something about.
I want to jump in.
Yeah.
If they want to work with Meraki and they want to, if they want to be a Meraki engineer, they don't want to learn more CLI or some coding, right? I think you are going to mention how they can get this information and training from web, right?
There's no CLI. Everything is managed through dashboard. So only one management interface to manage all of the Meraki products from single pane of glass. Programming, however, because we talked about APIs, it's an important skill if you're thinking about how can I expand the functionality of dashboard, how can I integrate my Meraki network with existing technologies in the business, whether this is going to be reporting and monitoring, configuration and provisioning. As an example, we've had a customer that recently deployed 2,800 networks within half hour.
Wow, very nice.
So what they, if they had to do that with a traditional network, estimated that this would have costed them $280,000 and many weeks of implementation. So what they did, because of the API available in dashboard and the programmability, is building a very simple script and a web interface that allowed them to provision all these networks within half hour. Really powerful technology enabled by API integration. So programmability skills are becoming more and more important for everyone that wants to be successful. I'll jump into the dashboard in a few moments, but I wanted to share with everyone 2 examples of Wi-Fi 6 customers that show the success of the technology. So the first one is McLaren. The latest event was powered by Meraki Networks, Wi-Fi 6 network, and this was a very high density environment. It was crucial for everyone to remain connected so that people can share their experience on the event while they were at the event. And the second one was US Open. Again, the whole network was powered by Meraki technology. Looking at everyone in the background here, you see everyone has their phone taking photos or videos or streaming live to social media. And Wi-Fi network that was able to provide that connectivity was crucial. What we found is that not only many people were streaming and required this high throughput and reliability of the network, but a lot of the traffic that was seen on the network was also from iCloud and backup services. As people were taking pictures and videos, storing them on their devices, the automatic backups kicked in because they were connecting to a wireless network, and all their data was being backed up to the cloud immediately. This required a lot of throughput, and a Wi-Fi 5 network would have really struggled to provide this reliable service to everybody, where you have data that is not high priority and is latency tolerant, mixed with data that is latency intolerant, like streaming audio and video. I wanted to show everyone a little bit of dashboard. So we're going to look at client visibility. What does dashboard provide? Traffic analytics and the area spectrum visibility that is available from the access points. So here's my dashboard. Can we see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Lots
good.
of greens. I think they are Merakis, right?
Yeah. So
Green is
that's
the color of Meraki.
Yeah, that's the color of Meraki. That's the map of the world. We see number of active networks. This is data, 2.6 million and growing. Every green dot is a Meraki network in the world. Some of them are in the oceans. This is small islands. These are active moving vessels. These are wind turbines. and all kinds of other facilities. You see that Europe and US are predominantly green. So from here, I'm going to go to the corporate network. This is what dashboard looks like. You see multiple networks that are available. Each of them is a logical container for Meraki equipment. So you can think of it as a separate location. If you look at the map, we have presence in San Francisco, Chicago, a few remote devices. We have a network in Europe, in London, a few of them in China and in Australia. So jumping into a network, on the left-hand side, we're in Meraki, London Finsbury Square. And this is where we are normally based when we are in the office. When we look at the clients page, we will see that we can change between clients connecting to different types of devices or different SSIDs. We can explore that for the past 2 hours, day, or up to 30 days. We see the pattern of usage that is happening on the network. So mostly in office hours and going down at 6 p.m. when people go offline. If we expand, we see layer 7 visibility for all the traffic. And we'll see that this is mostly UDP because we're all VPNing in, but predominantly what we have is WebEx, the application we use to the business, some Skype, and we see all the clients that are connected here. So we currently have 500 clients connected to our network. However, if we think, well, I actually see a lot of YouTube traffic and some Netflix. So I'm interested to find out if this is not a business application who is contributing to this. We'll click on YouTube because it's going to provide us a bit more information. We see we have 15 gigabytes of data on YouTube today. These are the MAC addresses of everyone connected to the wireless network. We keep them without names because we share the enterprise network and we want to keep this confidential. But we could easily see that we have a client here that is actually contributing with over 2 gigabytes to this. If we click on a specific client, we can see what is the name of the person that connected. How did they connect to the network? Client VPN. They're currently connected. What type of device are they using? And also, we can see a breakdown at layer 7 of all the applications that this client is using that are contributing towards the usage of the network. We see YouTube is the primary one. This may be a person in marketing or in department that relies heavily on YouTube to do their job. We will see the URL destinations for the websites. They are blurred here for privacy, but this is normally visible on any other network. So if we navigate from the left-hand side, the network-wide menu, and we look at traffic analytics, then we can see this all broken down, and we can investigate further down whether per specific access point or specific SSID. So layer 7 visibility everywhere throughout the whole Meraki stack. Sticking to the wireless topic for today, all our access points have a built-in radio that is dedicated to scanning the RF spectrum. So what this provides us is visibility into the spectrum without impacting the data plane and the data that is transmitted, or the performance and the experience of the end users. So in our office, we see the access points, what channel they're using, what is the channel utilization, the spectrum as well. If you click on a specific access point, then we see that as live analysis. And also we can see the interfering SSIDs and access points so that we know if there is anything we can do to resolve this. On an access point level as well, if you go to the RF tab, we can see on a daily basis what events have occurred. Here we have a channel change. For example, we can see how the client count is increasing. A peak of 4 clients, and that's understandable, nobody's in the office. How this affects the channel utilization and the usage of the access point as well. We can even see this live here for all the channels as well. This data being fed into dashboard from each access point enables the access point to automatically optimize the RF spectrum for the access points. So auto RF enables us to understand each channel on each spectrum and make intelligent decisions to change the channel on the access point or the signal strength of any of these access points to cover black holes, for example, or optimal coverage for the full wireless mesh, even when an access point goes down, so that we can continue providing the best service to everyone.
Thank you, Raj. It was a very nice demo.
Yep, thank you. I have a few resources for everyone. Those of you who want to learn more about Meraki, of course, our webpage would be the first place to go. But if you go to documentation.meraki.com, we'll share the slides with you later on. But this is a knowledge base article repository where we have thousands of documents explaining every functionality, how to configure it, multiple best practices, design guides, troubleshooting guides, and questions for most everything that you'd like to find over there. We also have Meraki community, which is community.meraki.com, where everyone can register and contribute or ask a question. It's not only Meraki employees that contribute to this community, but it is also passionate customers that love Meraki, customers that have full stacks everywhere and want to be Meraki advocates. Another learning place would be the webinars, similar to this one. We're running multiple webinars all the time. They're all being recorded and available in that portal, which is meraki.cisco.com/webinars. Here you will find them to watch when this is convenient for everyone that want to learn about our products and technologies. And we have a YouTube channel as well on that we announce new features, we have demos, we have explanations of technology or full stack presentations as well that you can watch. So make sure you spend some time over there and learn about Cisco Meraki. With that, thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Ivo. We have 2 questions. If it's possible, could you give short answer? First one is from Ali Yilmaz, and second one is from Esam. And Ali asked something about echo, which caused by latency. And do you have any specific solution in Meraki preventing echo?
Echo caused by latency.
I think Wi-Fi 6, which provides more bandwidth, that means, as you show in your presentation, reduce the latency. And I hope we won't phase off any echo in Wi-Fi 6 if device is not bad.
I'm not sure I understand the question, but The technology, if we're looking at, if I think about echo, then we're probably thinking about reflection of signal and how is that actually affecting existing clients and existing networks. And if I don't get it wrong, then I think the RF spectrum analysis that our access points are doing is probably the answer to that, so that we can tackle problems like this and optimize the network to provide the best performance to everybody. I hope this answer is it.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Also, something about Wi-Fi 6. Would you like to compare with Wi-Fi 6 and 5G? You know, of course, it's
Yes.
two different technologies, but is it complementary, or what's your opinion about that?
So both of them are new technologies, Wi-Fi 6 and 5G, and they are designed to complement each other. Cisco is heavily invested in both of them, 5G as well. They're built in mind with providing a lot of throughput to high density environments like shopping malls, for example. But we need to think about which one is for outdoor, which one is for indoor. So 5G, we're going to see working in outdoor environments where you can have good coverage, where you can achieve these speeds that 5G is providing. And this is a technology that is probably a couple of years minimum until it becomes a technology available to everybody, when all our handsets will be supporting it. When we move into the enterprise, 5G is not so relevant.
Right.
It's very difficult to get good Wi-Fi, good 5G coverage into an office where you can get speeds. Also, 5G is private network, meaning that it doesn't enable communication between devices on the same network. You can't connect your servers to 5G and allow users to connect
I agree with you.
servers this way. So
We
it
have-
becomes
It becomes
a technology. So Wi-Fi 6 becomes a technology that is going to provide service similar to the expectations of everyone with 5G, but indoors in the closed spaces.
Thank you very much. Megan from US is waiting. She's our next speaker. But with the permission, with you, Megan, we have last question from one of our attendees. And are we able to read that question? He's, I think he or she, I don't know. Sorry about that. How Wi-Fi 6 handles security for connected users, and how they can provide, how Wi-Fi 6 provide the protection against the rogue Wi-Fi.
Yep, I can see that. Well, this is not just Wi-Fi 6 technology, really. We have this security radio in our access points that I told you about. We've had it for many generations. All our access points have been built with that. And this security radio is able to detect these rogue access points, rogue Wi-Fi networks. It's a technology that is called Air Marshal, and you can read on it more in documentation.meraki.com, but it provides you the ability to understand what is the threat. Is anyone trying to pretend to be your SSID, creating a man-in-the-middle attack? And if this is not a Meraki access point, if this is not your own hardware providing this SSID, for example, we can prevent users from to that SSID by sending the authentication frames, which creates a denial of service attack towards this fake SSID as an example. There are many use cases and many other functionality options within Air Marshal. I encourage you to read on that. Hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you very much. Also, Tolga, we are going to answer your question in our session about DevNet certification, and Tolga asked some certification question about DevNet, and we will share whole information and documentation. Ivo, thank you very much. It was brilliant. I hope we will see more Meraki engineers in the market with your motivation and support. And please contact with Meraki links that we are going to share. and join us. Thanks. And now we are going to continue with Megan. Megan, which state you are living? You are coming from United States, right?
Yes, I'm in the US. I'm actually in New York. So
New York. Yeah, how is the
the
weather?
sun is just coming up.
Oh, have you got your coffee today? Have you got the first coffee today?
I do. I have my coffee.
Okay.
I am all set. Thank you so much. And Ivo, that was an amazing presentation, and Alistair, so informative. So this is a very tough act to follow here, Cumhur.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Well,
And,
thank you for.
yes, please introduce yourself, and I'm sure you are going to share very interesting and valuable information for us about cybersecurity, because security is a very good topic. You know, if you want to deal with Wi-Fi, as Ivo mentioned, you need security. If you want to deal with data center, you have to deal with security. If you want to go to data, you need to understand what is security. It should be designed by security, not add-on by security, right? Yes, please. Stage is yours.
Exactly. I mean, we believe that security does really touch every aspect of technology. And I think everything that Ivo was talking about in terms of Wi-Fi 6, we at CertNexus, I am very honored to be the Chief Product Officer here at CertNexus. And what we do is relevant to what Alistair was speaking about earlier in your CVs, which is certifications. Many of you have and hold certifications. Some may have been expired. Some you are still studying for and looking forward to obtaining. And at CertNexus, we develop certifications specific to emerging technologies. And we look at the entire organization. So when we talk about emerging technologies, we still consider cybersecurity as an emerging technology because it does touch every single piece of technology that is introduced into the market today, whether it's Wi-Fi 6, whether it's the Internet of Things or artificial intelligence. We always have to be aware and able to address the security concerns within those technologies. So really quickly about what we do, we develop vendor neutral certifications. So a little bit different than the certifications and Cisco offers, which primarily, although they do a wonderful job at some of their introductory and foundational certifications, we are vendor neutral, which means that we do not align our certifications to a specific technologies, rather focus on the skills and tasks necessary to operate within that area of technology. So when we look at our cybersecurity certifications, which you can see here at along our Think, Build, and Secure areas, we look at a comprehensive cybersecurity certification, which is our CyberSec First Responder, or CFR. And really what that does is it allows a security professional, maybe somebody that holds a lower level security certification, to really validate, and maybe even if they're ready to take the next step and align their education and training to it, upskill to that next level. You know, when we talk about detection and response, and we'll dive into what happens in these specific certifications a little bit, but what we do as a vendor neutral certification body is we look across technologies. We look at things like Cisco, we look at Windows, we look at Linux, and we really take a look at all of those different technologies. We focus on some of the more relevant and global and universal technologies so that people can build up those skills and knowledge outside of the technologies, and then advance to more specific certifications within some vendor specific areas. And we also not only focus on cybersecurity, but we look at technology. So a few years ago, we went beyond our cybersecurity product line and dove into IoT. And you know, Ivo was speaking about the number of devices. So every single device that is out there, the entire ecosystem, throughout the ecosystem, how do you secure that And for people who are working within and working with those devices and at the edge and within the cloud technologies, what are the security concerns that they need to be aware of? Because they're focused on their part of the ecosystem, they're focused on their technology, but are they thinking about security? And we want to make sure that we weave that knowledge and education of security throughout all of those technologies. Now, last year, we were very excited to dive into artificial intelligence and our certified artificial intelligence practitioner. And when we look at AI and we look at how it is being used, Alistair was speaking that even our CVs, having those terms on our CVs because organizations, recruiters, LinkedIn, Glassdoor are all using artificial intelligence to look across those documents and seek out those specific text fields. And that is how they are leveraging and using AI to cull through all of that data. Now we're just about to dive into data science, which is a hot topic. Some of you on the webinar today may be involved in data science. And so what I want to do now is take a look at where the opportunities are. And I like to show this. I know for many of you, this may look very small on the webinar, but this is a very interesting document that comes actually, I believe it comes from ISC Squared, another certification company that's out there. And when we look at the IT jobs and functions, typically what happens is we focus in on when we look at traditional certifications, maybe even certifications that you hold, they really live right here when we talk about security, down in this green area, or they may live in the systems area. Very few live in testing. We have some strong management certifications for project management with PMI and some very strong certifications around database administrators. However, it's amazing to me when I look at this and we look at within an organization where the majority of those job functions live is on the development side, where many of you live, right? Our software developers, our programmers, our architects, our engineers. And what we're not seeing, and I'm happy to hear that Cisco also has their new certification, but what we're seeing is this resurgence of understanding that this is an area that really needs some revitalization. And in terms of the job market and having things on your CV to set yourself aside what certifications are available for developers and for programmers. And when we look at, and I'm going to go back here, we look at our cybersecurity portfolio, we actually have a certification that lives right in that area. It's called Cyber Secure Coder. And what it's intended to do is to, for our programmers, is to validate the skills, or perhaps if you are not ready to validate those skills and want a little bit of upskilling, taking the course that leads up to the certification. And what it does is it introduces how can you secure all of your programs throughout that life cycle, right? So when you're developing, many of one of the things that is a standard within the industry is to go and use open source code. But as soon as you use that open source code, you're opening yourself up to risk. So what are some practices and skills that are needed to protect that code as you bring it into your organization? And then not only building it, but implementing it, testing it along the way, and maintaining it in a secure environment. We've got code that's been living out there for some of it is decades. And how do we continually test and maintain so that we know that our programs are secure? And when you think about, it's interesting to me that we've always talked about, we've talked about security on the network side, even the cloud side, but we're not talking about it on the code side, which is amazing because your programs touch every single aspect of an organization, from a website to the financial systems. Pretty impressive. So we really want to be able to honor the importance of these roles right here and provide certification for our programmers around security, and our certifications are created by industry experts. I would like to qualify that I am not an industry expert in the area of programming or necessarily even in cybersecurity, AI, or data science. But what we are experts in is developing a rigorous examination, certification, and program using industry experts. So what we do is we talk to those experts, we have them identify what are those job tasks that are absolutely necessary for the roles that we are certifying for. And then we build out what we call a blueprint. You only by certain access, but by our competitors.
Houston, we have a problem, I think, from United States. Let's wait 1 second. And it's very important to put some different certification like IoT and programming and developing. He's mentioned, if you put some different kind of certification like vendor independent, it will support you to different positions, because the legacy systems are going to die one day, and you have to learn more programming like Python, and Ali is going to give more insights for us, more information for us. And I hope Megan is going to continue. I hope so. Everybody able to see me? Please type in the chat if you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Maybe Trump is banning us. I don't know. And if it's possible, could you type in the chat if you are holding any Cisco certification, and we are going to talk about that. And also, we will give 3 minutes break if you want to brew your coffee and like me, put in here or something like that. And let's wait in seconds. Ali, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Let's wait in 50 seconds again, and if Megan is not short out, connect again. And
Okay, sure.
I think she's not using Meraki Wi-Fi in home, therefore.
I think she just made a case for upgrading from Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 6.
I think so, maybe. Thanks, Bipin. Let me check Ali and Ivo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I've messaged Megan, but I haven't heard anything back from her.
Yeah, I think so. If it's possible, could you make presenter Ali, and Ali can continue, and after that we can invite Megan again, whatever.
Yep.
His her position. Thanks.
Presenter Ali.
Okay, thank you.
Ali, thank you for joining us. And Ali is one of our senior engineer, network engineer. He's holding bunch of certification, and, and he's going to share with you. And please, Ali.
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the session so far. And thank you to all of the other presenters for their amazing information. And thank you, Mr. Cumhur, for this opportunity. In this section of our webinar, I'm going to talk about ID certifications. We will have a brief overview of some ID certifications which are in demand in the ID market. So qualified engineers with these certifications in their hands can have more opportunity than the others in the same field. And also, we are going to explain all the benefits you can gain from ID certifications. Also, we will talk about Cisco certifications and wait a second. Sorry, I didn't share. Can you see that?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay. And also, we are going to explain all the benefits you can gain from IT certifications, and we will talk about Cisco certification, and at the end, we will talk about some cloud certifications. Okay, so before I start, let me introduce myself. As Mr. Cumhur said, I'm holding a bunch of certifications. I'm Ali Gheidarpour with about 20 years of experience in the IT and network industry. I'm a double CCIE in both CCIE security and routing and switching. And I have some other certifications from Cisco Systems, as you can see, and also other IT certifications from the other vendors and organizations. And okay, let's get started. If you have any questions about the topics we are talking about here in this session, please feel free to ask by writing them in the chat panel. So after the session, we will try to answer them one by one, or you can send us an email. Also, we will share these slides with you after the session. Okay. Okay, here is the really cool questions, and I think all of the people, specifically young people, are having these questions in their mind. So let's talk about these questions. IT certifications or university degree? Okay, so it doesn't matter if you are new to IT or an industry veteran. You still might not know if you need a certification or a degree to move your career forward. So the question here is, which one is better? IT certification or university degree? There is an ongoing debate in the IT field about whether you need certifications or degrees to advance your career. Most of the time, people will answer, it depends. Specifically, it depends on how much experience you have, what area within IT you are interested in, what specific job or role you want to move into, and what career path you have in mind, and so on. And as you can see, there are lots of questions related to these key questions. One note about certification here is that you have an advantage if you have a certification. More than that, certifications verify that you have the knowledge you need to do the job. Certifications can provide some assurance to employers that you have the set of skills required. For instance, to code in a specific programming language or to operate the company's preferred security or networking systems. Certifications indicate that you know the how part of the accomplishment technical task. But there's one note here. You need to earn an appropriate certification for your IT field. It is important to ensure that the certification you pursue reflects current industry standards. For example, in the field of security, as Megan also explained for us, the standards are changing rapidly given new technologies and new threats. Make sure that the certification you choose is still relevant and valued in the marketplace. And another note about degree. While you are pursuing certification can help you build specific technology skills, a degree provides you with the foundational knowledge needed for your IT career. A degree can add the why part of the business reasons. A degree program may cover the business aspects of IT, risk and reward implications, along with the understanding of technology and its uses. But what degree should you get? Just as you need to be sure that a certification is up to date, you need to know that the degree meets your career needs also. A degree should not only provide you with business or technical skills in theory, it should also help you understand how those skills apply in today's IT environment. So for now, if I ask this question again, IT certifications or university degree, which one? My answer is both of them. For many positions in the IT field today, a certification and a degree combined may qualify you for a career path in which either one by itself won't suffice. Okay, so now let's talk about the value of certifications in a little bit more detail. Okay. These are the benefits you can gain by getting certified in the IT field. The first one is knowledge. The structured study of your IT domain via a certification program can help you understand it well. So you are more adept at attacking technical and business problems at many levels to arrive at a solution. The second one is skill. A good certification program offers discipline and repeated practice. So with the structure to help you deeply ingrain a skill set and perform tasks more effectively and efficiently. So a skill is important also. Validation. So think of certification as a recognized badge of honor that the rest of the world accepts and buys into. So far, you have knowledge, skill, and validation. The next one is credibility. Achievement via a strong certification program helps to establish with peers, managers, and customers that you know what you are doing. So this is the proof. The second one is responsibility after credibility. Here, responsibility means the ability to take on added responsibility from your employer that will help you grow in your career. The next one is confidence. So far, you have all of the good skills and all of the good things. With the knowledge and increased skill gained from certification and the reward that grew to that, comes increased confidence to do the job, which can build even further progress and self-assurance. This is also good. Value. All those good things like knowledge, skill, validation, ability to take on added responsibility, and confidence translate to your increased value as a successful performer in the eyes of employers and customers. So this is good for your CV also. Versatility. A robust certification portfolio allows you to make forays into different technology arenas, using those added skills to enhance your current strength and discover new interests. So it will offer you lots of things. Opportunity, the next one. Those who certify and gain new skills and knowledge in the process, stand a greater chance of breaking out of possible job silos, taking advantage of cross-function team roles, and being in better position for exciting career change. So this is another thing. After getting opportunity, it's normal and that you can get more hireability. Certification is one of those assets that employers automatically look for when it comes time to seek out new talent. Advancement. Being certified gets you noticed by your employer, who is more likely to remember your initiative when making decisions about promotion. So this is a good thing. So the last one, but the best one, salary. With advancement and career progression, more money can follow. Now, I think you have enough reasons to start pursuing your certifications, but which certification and which certification program. Now you can also, as I said, you can write down your questions in the chat panel and we will try to answer them. So it's a really good question that which certification and which certification program. Let's start with Cisco Carrier Certification Program, which I think is the best one in the industry from the value and program structure perspective. Okay. Cisco Systems offers multiple certification programs in different levels, as you can see here. In the first certification program, we have more focus on different domains in networking, like routing, switching, security, service provider, data center, collaboration, and so on. In the second program, which is recently added by Cisco and called DevNet, we have more focus on network programmability and automation, which help your network to work better and more efficient in a different way, and help engineers to more innovative by using codes and APIs to control their network. So I think you heard about Python a lot, and also other programming languages that's more fit with networking, like Ansible and the other languages. But it doesn't matter with which languages you are coding for the network. The important part is your skill set that you can bring to your work. So we have associate, professional, and expert level in each of these programs. So let's take a look at them one by one. Okay. The first one is in the associate level is CCNA. CCNA training course and exam give you the foundation you need to take your career in any direction. New CCNA certification covers a breadth of topics, which means all of the core topics that you need in the CCNA level, including network fundamentals, network access, IP connectivity, IP services, security fundamentals, automation, and programmability. You can get your CCNA certification by just passing this exam, 200-301 CCNA exam. CCNA certification is valid for 3 years, and you can recertify by taking any professional level exam. Okay, let's go to the next level. Okay, Cisco's professional level certifications prepare you for today's job roles in IT technologies. These certifications validate the breadth and depth of your knowledge, covering the core concepts that span a technology area while also providing the flexibility to choose a focus area. So you can focus on one of the areas or multiple areas like enterprise networking, network security, service provider, data center, and collaboration. We have more detailed information about professional level certification in our next slides. Okay, so as you can see here, we have CCNP Enterprise, CCNP Security, Service Provider, Data Center, and Collaboration. Okay. To the next slide. Okay, so before talking about CCNP Enterprise, I want to mention here that each individual exam is known as Specialist Certification Exam in new Cisco certification program. So by passing each Cisco exams, you will get certified as the specialist. For professional level certification, you need to pass 2 exams. One exam as a core and mandatory for that domain. So you can see here the core exam is NCore exam. And one other exam as the elective exam or concentration exam, which you can choose based on the domain of your interests. So here, for instance, for CCNP Enterprise, first you have to pass the core exam, NCORE, and the second one is the concentration exam. So you can choose between advanced routing and switching, SD-WAN solutions. This is the in-demand topic in the market here now. Designing the Cisco Enterprise Network, designing Cisco Enterprise Wireless Network, implementing wireless networks, and also you can choose the automation for enterprise solutions. If you pass the core exam, you will be certified as the core specialist in that domain. So, as I said, by passing each exam in Cisco, a new certification model, you will be certified as the specialist. Also, you will be qualified for CCIE lab exam if you pass the core exam in each domain. Okay. Next one is CCNP security. Here again, we have core as the S-core exam here, and one elective exam like firewall next generation IPS, Cisco Identity Services Engine, ICE, email security, web security, and VPN, and also the automation for security solutions. The next one is CCNP service provider. Again, you have SP core, and you have elective exams like advanced routing solutions, specifically for service providers and service provider VPN services, and also automation for service provider solution. Next one is data center CCNP. So we have again DC core here, which talk about the core technologies in data center. And also you have elective exam, which contains data center infrastructure design, troubleshooting data center infrastructure, implementing ACI or application-centric infrastructure, configuring the MDS or storage switches in data center, and also implementing automation for data center solution. The next one is CCNP collaboration. Okay, we have again the core, collaboration core, and we have 4 elective exam here. Which one you want, you can choose that here. Collaboration application, call control, and collaboration cloud, and also automation for collaboration solutions. Okay, so before talking about CCIE or expert level exams in Cisco, again, I will say that if you pass the core exam in each of the CCNP domains or professional domains, you will be qualified for entering and scheduling the CCIE lab exam. Okay. So the expert level of Cisco certifications contains CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure. In recent changes, Cisco changed the name from Cisco CCIE Routing and Switching to Enterprise Infrastructure. And also CCIE Wireless also changed its name to Enterprise Wireless. We have CCIE Collaboration, CCIE Data Center, and CCIE Security and Service Provider. And also we have the expert level of design certification with the name CCTE. So let's take a look at each of them. So here for CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure, we have one core exam. This is the same exam that you have for CCNP Core, CCNP Enterprise Core exam. And after that, if you pass the core exam, you will be qualified for CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure Lab exam. This is the 8 hours lab exam, and it will just offered in some locations, some Cisco offices around the world. And this is a really good certification, as you know. The next one is CCI Enterprise Wireless, and as you can see, we have the same core exam because the core exam is same for both infrastructure and wireless networks. Again, we have core exam and enterprise wireless lab exam separately. CCI Security has also the core as the qualification exam and the lab exam also. CCI Service Provider contains the SP core and the lab exam also. CCI Data Center, again, the DC core and the CCI Data Center lab exam. And also CCI Collaboration, which has the core exam plus the 8 hours lab exam. For CCDE, it's a little bit different. You have the qualification exam or written exam, and also you have the practical exam. For CCDE, you will not touch the equipments, or you will not have any configuration tasks or troubleshooting tasks or from the configuration sides. So you have some questions which you should choose the best answer based on for the design and also to finding the best solution for that question. So it's important to know that taking the CCDE exam is really important, and this is a really hard exam, and you have to have lots of experience in multiple areas, specifically in service provider side. Okay, all of the expert level exams are valid for 3 years. All of the certifications are valid for 3 years. And if you take one core exam from the other domain, for instance, I am a CCIE security, to renew my certification, I can choose the other core domain, for instance, CCI service provider. And after that, my certification will be renewed. And after that, I will be qualified for the CCIE service provider lab exam. Okay. Another cool things here is the Cisco DevNets. Cisco DevNet certification proves your skills in developing and maintaining applications built on Cisco platforms. We have DevNet Associate, DevNet Professional, and DevNet Expert. Actually, DevNet Expert is not here now, and it will coming soon. So now we have just Associate and Professional level for DevNet. Let's see. Okay. With DevNet Associate exam, you can test your knowledge of software development and design, including understanding and using of APIs, Cisco platforms and developments, application development and security, infrastructure and automation. So all of the things, as I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter with which language, with which programming language you will go to automate your network, Python, Ansible, or any other language. It's about matching your skills and using the existing APIs in Cisco devices and using them to manage your network, to control your network. Okay, so for DevNet Associate, we have just one exam, developing applications and automating workflows using Cisco core platforms. And if you pass this exam, you will get certified in Cisco DevNet Associate. Okay, the next level in DevNet is a DevNet Professional. So here again, like other professional level exams in like other professional certifications from Cisco, we have one core exam, which contains all of the core concepts with the name Dev Core here, and you can choose one of the concentration or elective exams again here. You can see here we have some red exams in red color, and these are the exams that are part of the elective exams in your CCNP certifications, like CCNP Enterprise. So here, the first one is implementing automation for Cisco Enterprise solutions. So if you choose this exam as your elective exam for your CCNP Enterprise, and after that you pass the Dev Core exam, you will be certified in both CCNP Enterprise and also in DevNet Professional certification. So it's a good combination. So you can choose the best one which match your skills also. Okay, another thing, and this is the really good thing, there is a really good opportunity on 4th of June this year, the Cisco DevNet Day. This is a virtual event which you can participate and learn the latest technologies and skills in DevNet Zone, including workshops and technical sessions. Also, this is a free session, so don't forget to register by clicking on this link. I'm sure it will be a really cool session for you, all of you guys. So also, as I mentioned earlier, we will share the whole slides, and you can just click on this link and you can register for this event. Okay. Online testing for Cisco certification exams. Okay, another cool thing is that Cisco offered a really cool option to help you meet your certification goals, particularly during this challenging time due to this pandemic. So Cisco now is delivering certification exam using online proctoring from Pearson VUE. Online proctoring provides you with the ability to pursue the new certification, including the new DevNet track, without any delay. So you can also save time and money since travel is not required. So you can stay at home and get your certification. This is another cool thing from Cisco certification program. So also you can click on this link and get more information about that. Okay, any questions so far before we talk about the other cool technology?
Ali, we have two questions. One is, which one is valuable for us, vendor natural or vendor oriented? In my opinion, it depends on your aim. You know, if you want to work Cisco, of course you should have at least CCNP or maybe CCA level certification. Are you agree with me?
Yes, exactly. As you correctly said, that it depends on your goal, and also if you choose the vendor-dependent certification, which means you want to have more skill about that vendor's product. And also, one cool thing from Cisco certification is that Cisco certification will not prepare you just for operating and working with Cisco devices. Cisco has a really cool programming certification program that help you to understand the technology first, and after that you can apply those knowledge to controlling their devices. So pursuing Cisco certification it doesn't mean that you just can work with Cisco gears. It means that you know the knowledge you gain technology knowledge, and after that you can apply that on any vendors. For instance, in my case, I learned lots of things from Cisco documentation. So it means we have lots of things in documentation from the technology point of view, and after that, just moving from one vendor to the other vendor is just working on their configuration guide. If you know the topic, you can just see what's the feature that you are going to implement, and you can use their configuration guide to implement that.
Also, vendor natural certification will add you another leverage if you want to work and reskill yourself. Because if you want to work in vendor, of course you need some vendor specific certification. But if you want to work in a end customer, they will have different kind of vendors, and you can easily adapt different kind of vendors and gain more role and earn lots of money.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, Osman asked some question about associate level certification, and is there any requirements for that? And how long does it take? How long does it take is a very tricky question. If you work in 8 hours in a day, or if you work in 1 hour in a day, please give your opinion about that.
Yeah, as you correctly mentioned, it depends on your aim, and it depends on your time management, and it depends on your family. If you can spend lots of time on your study, yeah, you can do that. But you need your family support too, because they need to understand your goal. And for instance, for CCIE preparation, there is no any thing that you can pursue the CCI certification with just 2 hours a day.
It's a bit painful, right? It's a bit painful.
Yes, exactly.
Also, if you have any children, it will increase the pain.
Yes, exactly. So first, it depends on your goal, and it depends on your experience. If you started your journey in networking, it doesn't matter how long it will take, because this is a journey, and getting a certification itself is not the goal. It's part of the journey. Okay, so if, for instance, if it takes 4 years to complete your CCNA, it doesn't mean you are not understanding the topics. It means you are gaining more and more skills before getting certified.
Okay, thank you very much. We have last 2 questions, but if it's possible, could you give short answers, because Megan is waiting, and
sorry,
is on the line, and also Chani and Bipin. The question, if I were able to read one of our friends, and thank you very much for great session. I understand CC lab could be taken directly with CCNP enterprise without CCA written.
Yeah, this question, as I said earlier, in new certification program, there is no any prerequisites for any exam. But for CCIE, if you have the CCNP already in your hand, which means you have the CCNP core specialist. So Cisco will provide you the CCNP core specialist certification, and with that certification in your hand, you already passed the qualification exam, and there is no more any written exam. Okay, so
okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's it.
And very last question, last and least. And Fatih asked some advice to new graduates focus on, in addition to Cisco certification path. What are the technologies that's different in the UK market? Maybe Ali or Jamie can answer. What are the opportunities in UK markets with networking or another vendor specific jobs? Alistair or Jamie, would you like to answer if you're on the line?
Yeah, sorry, what was the question? Sorry, are there job opportunities for networking in the market at the moment?
Yeah, in the UK markets. Because
Yeah, I mean, with the current market, with obviously with the virus, it's taken a bit of a hit, but things will pick up, and there's the opportunities we're working on at the moment tend to be sort of business critical stuff. So you're not NOC engineers, data center engineers. It's been where the bulk of the volume has been recently. But moving forward across the board from architects, manager, engineer, there'll be opportunities across the board. And obviously, as DevNet becomes even more popular, there'll be more opportunities in that field as well. I think at the moment, obviously, the skill set or the amount of skills maybe there's not as many. But as we progress, that will certainly open up as well.
okay, thank you very much, Jamie. Thank you very much, Ali. Please go on and could you finalize?
Okay. So here, another trending technology which has a lot of demand in the IT market is cloud computing, as you know. So many companies around the world are already started to migrate their infrastructure and services to the cloud. This technology brings you lots of benefits. Two major cloud players in the market are Amazon and Google, as you know. Amazon offered the Amazon Web Services, or AWS, and Google offered the Google Cloud Platforms. So there are lots of things you can do in the cloud, and each of these providers offer different levels of services with different costs. These cloud providers also offer the certification program to test the engineer's cloud knowledge. Let's have a brief overview on their program here, because we are running out of the time. So I will just mention that we have foundation level in Amazon and associate and professional. And after that, you can go for some specialized certification like advanced networking certification for the cloud. So the next cloud provider is Google Cloud Platform, or GCP certification. So we have associate and professional and specialization. So you can find more information by clicking on this link. Okay, so that's it from my side. Okay, to conclude this session, I recommend you to pursue both IT certification and university degree. Okay, just study, practice, and learn. It doesn't matter which certification program you choose. The important thing is your focus and commitment. Enjoy the technology and learn as much as you can. Thank you again, and I hope that you found this session informative. Stay safe and have a great weekend. Thank you, Mr. John.
Thank you very much, Ali. Please take off your care and your loved ones, and it was very nice to hear your voice and very good information.
Thank you.
I would like to ask Megan to get on stage, and if it's possible, Ivo, could you help us?
Just looking for Megan.
Are you able to hear? See, yes, she's coming up.
Right, I am back. Apologies for that.
No problem.
For my and fantastic presentation from Ali around some vendor-specific certifications. So what I'd like to do is once again try to share my screen here.
Yeah, well, the question is, what's the benefit? You know, could you give some information about your certifications? What's the benefit?
Yeah, so it's interesting. The benefits around our certifications outside of, the cybersecurity, which we talked about earlier, really live in the fact that emerging tech, as you can see on my screen, is growing. And when we talk about emerging technology, it is the Internet of Things, it is artificial intelligence, it is data science. So these technologies are really shaping everything about an organization and are going beyond our traditional IT roles. So we are starting to see people that are not coming in with a computer science background. We are seeing people that are coming in with a more engineering background, people who are working with devices. We are looking at people, data scientists, who really want to excel their data science practices using artificial intelligence. How do we apply artificial intelligence to sales and marketing? How do we implement machine learning so that we can really get some value out of all of the data that is being collected? You know, when we look at the value of the certification, especially in emerging technologies, there really aren't a lot, there really aren't any when we look at artificial intelligence, vendor neutral, you know, certifications in the area of artificial intelligence. So what that does in terms of how does it differentiate you as a candidate for a potential position within a company is that, number one, it expresses validates that you have some core level knowledge, some foundational level knowledge to excel into that field. And what Ali was talking about is then understanding within your organization what specific technologies you then need to launch off of, you know, a vendor neutral certification for. So the benefit to that is, number one, it demonstrates your knowledge at an industry level. So, you know, Ali was talking about the difference between an academic degree or certificate versus a certification. I think the big difference that we see in certifications that are industry recognized is the fact that a lot of times academic degrees and certificates are conceptual knowledge, they're theoretical. Whereas industry certifications are built upon the tasks and the skills. And so by holding those certifications, it validates to an organization that you have those, you have the ability to implement those skills and complete the tasks necessary for the jobs. And when we look at emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, like secure coding, you really see that there you want to have something that sets you aside from those other candidates. So when you have an AI, you know, program that is scanning through your CV, you know, they're seeing a certification in something that, you know, differentiates you from another organization. They also are incredibly valuable in starting your journey, in getting into technology. What we're seeing with the current situation is many people who have lost their job or are looking to reskill. Are they going from a manufacturing into an IT field? Are you looking to get into data science? So what the vendor neutral certifications offer through CertNexus is a path forward. So you can set that foundation, you can gain that knowledge, you can understand the concepts, and you can start to build your portfolio of certifications. And I think the important thing to mention is that, you know, many certification companies, Cisco, Amazon, CompTIA, what we do is we take our certifications and to renew them because they do expire. Oftentimes, we look at what certifications you have from other organizations, and then you can apply those to your continuing education and renew your certification without have to retaking that exam. So there are programs so that, you know, continuing on your certification journey not only benefits the certification that you're currently trying to obtain, but it also helps maintain your previous certifications as well, which is incredibly important. And I want to make sure, Cumhur, that I'm addressing all of the questions that are coming in. So if there's any questions that
Yes.
we see, go ahead and give them
Yes,
to me.
of course. Yes, you can continue, and also we are asking our guests to do some brainstorming and ask new questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as we, you know, go through, I want to talk about different technologies because I know we've been focusing a lot on networking and security, but I do want to talk about some, you know, technologies that in fact are emerging. One of the things that we see significantly and we're hearing a lot about in the UK is IoT. So Internet of Things, those deployments, because if we look at data as the new currency within the global economy, where does that data come from? Many of it comes from consumer-driven, collections. So we look at web pages. What are we entering into those web pages? But so much of our data and the evolution of big data is coming because of all of these IoT devices. I believe it was Ivaylo who was saying on average we have 2.5 devices per individual. And so that creates a lot of data. But how do you not only implement an IoT solution, whether it is something that is being brought in or it is a product that you're thinking about offering? If you're in manufacturing, how do you transition into utilizing IoT? And then how do you secure those systems? Because what we're seeing a lot in operational technologies is that you have wonderful manufacturing practices and wonderful processes, and then all of a sudden they're connecting to the internet and it's interfering with the IT department's security. So we want to make sure that when those IoT solutions are implemented in manufacturing settings or in energy settings, that they are secure and that the IT and the OT department are working together. The best thing that you can do in terms of a change management plan is to make sure that within your organization or within your own personal skill set, you have that foundational knowledge to walk into an organization and say, listen, not only do I understand how to secure your networks in your cloud, but I also understand the other elements within the IoT ecosystem to secure. And I also understand how they work. One of the other securities that I want to talk about is, not securities, but emerging technologies, and I've referenced it so many times, is data science and also artificial intelligence, because they're tied. So data science, as we look at it, is about taking the data that is collected and extracting value out of it. What we're seeing here is that every single business has data that they need to manage. Most of that data is what we call unstructured data. So it lives in a non-database environment. It's not organized, it's not easily accessible. It might be a semi-structured data that comes from emails, has some text, but what about all these visuals? What about video? What, all of the cameras, the IoT cameras that are capturing the video, that is data. So how do we manage that data? So understanding how to manage data for your organization is going to become incredibly crucial. And also, what we're seeing is that many people are doing analytics on this data, but they're not deriving any value from it. So when we look at, the areas that we're seeing exploding in terms of job opportunities and salary, Ali talked about salary. Data science is huge. We're looking at salaries in, the 6 digits, starting in the 6 digits for data science. And so to demonstrate knowledge and have that validated on your CV with a certification allows you to get that bump in salary. And then we also have to take a look at many, maybe we have some business leaders on this call that are thinking, how do I myself advance my technological knowledge without getting overly technical? And so we have credentials that really are addressed to business leaders or maybe people that are interested in investigating a technology. So things like artificial intelligence business for the business professional or AI biz. We talk about some of the concepts, some of the terminology, and then how can you get the most value for your organization out of those technologies, and how do you begin to deploy that, implement it, or build a strategy around it? So really, Cumhur, you asked the question, what is the value of it? It is the ability for organizations to transform within these emerging technologies. We look at the biggest organizations in the world, beyond the Ciscos, but we look at Google, we look at Facebook, we look at LinkedIn. These are data-driven companies. These are not brick and mortar organizations that are selling widgets. Their commodity is the data itself and the ability to derive value and give that back to their consumers with the data that they have. So they are much more advanced. So if you're looking to get into a larger organization, perhaps take your data science practices to a different level, understanding machine learning and artificial intelligence. Having a certification in that area will set you aside. And then you can look at those specific vendor-specific certifications after you establish yourself as the foundation. So a lot of times what I tell people is if they are seeking to delve into a new technology, establish your knowledge with a foundational vendor neutral certification, and then evaluate what the company is seeking in terms of their specific technology. Are they using Microsoft? Are they using Google? Are they using Amazon? Do they deploy Cisco technology? And then building off of that. So I want to make sure, Cumhur, that I give our other speakers plenty of time to speak. So I'm going to put up some opportunities that I have here. We are partnering with our amazing distributor, Logical Operations. They have, because of the inability for those of us to get to brick and mortar training centers, we do have some virtual offerings for people that maybe want to try some courses out. We're offering our cybersecure coder. We're offering our AI biz and our data science business course. Those are smaller 2-hour workshop sessions that are, allow you to expose yourself to those technologies that might, push you along a path. And then I also do want to let you know that all of our certification exams are available online as well. So if you're in an area where your Pearson VUE test centers are not open, you can take the exams online in the comfort of your home office or your regular office, and we have all the information on our website as well. And then lastly, Cumhur, I do want to offer up, we do have readiness assessments, and I will share some access keys to anybody if people want to reach out to me. This is a great way to evaluate, could I potentially get a certification without, investing in a 5-day training or a 2-month training, and assess to see if you're prepared to take a certification and look at that path, or identify the areas within the technologies that you might need a little bit more knowledge and education for.
Okay. Megan, we have one good question. Also, I think everybody thinks about that. What makes a certification especially industry recognized? How this apply to CertNexus?
So, and I think that Ali mentioned this as well. Industry recognized certification means that it has been developed and validated by industry experts. So what that means is we have a group, a board of subject matter experts in the areas of the technology. We are currently developing a certification in the ethics of emerging technology. So we have an amazing group of a dozen or so AI ethicists who are evaluating what skills and knowledge is necessary. And not only do they build the foundation, or what we call the blueprint, to develop our exam, when we look at and do our health checks, we send out that to them on a typically yearly basis to reevaluate. And as Ali was saying, are there changes in the technology? Are there changes in the standards for the technology? Because at the level we're at, we're looking at what are the universal and global standards that we need to apply to. And then, what are some concepts that need to be added to certification? And this is all validated by people that are working in that technology. That's what industry recognized certifications mean.
Also, as far as I remember, when I checked your website, they will see lots of brands who recognize this certification in their company, right?
Yes. So we, as a global organization, and
Because Cisco is one of them, as far as I remember.
yes, so we actually have Cisco engineers that have taken our CFR exam. We have organizations, everything from consumer organizations like grocery organizations to uh, uh, all the way, so we're vendor to manufacturing. So we really cross sectors in terms of different types of businesses and industries, because the technology, security, AI, data science is applicable across industries. So yes, you can see all of those logos up on our website, Cumhur.
Okay, thank you very much. And please tell our regards to all US.
We will. And thank you. And please stay
And
safe.
stay
We're
safe
very,
too.
thank you again for inviting a US citizen. Most of us are pretty good and fairly reasonable, not like other people.
Be careful.
Thank you
Be
so
careful.
much, Cumhur.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
You too.
And thank you very much again. And we are going to continue with Chani. But Ivo, may I ask you to extend some 20 minutes because I don't want to. I want to give extra minutes to also Chani and Bipin. They are brilliant and splendid security people. And also Chani is holding another hat. It's called She CISO. And Chani, please get on stage and tell us and share your experience as well.
Hi, Kumar. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you
Hi,
and
how
I
are
can
you?
see you.
Friday?
Happy Friday.
Good. Hi, everyone. Yes, thanks for
Yes.
joining and listening to all the presentations and inviting me to this conference as well. So glad to be here. And
Pleasure.
I wanted to start by saying I actually started this new project this week, and it's one of the partners here, which I can't mention who, but I'm really excited, and I've been working on PowerPoint presentations the whole day, a whole week actually. So I tried to avoid death by PowerPoint. So I thought I'm going to do my speech in a different style. So bear
Yes,
with
please.
me and give you feedback. This is the first time I'm doing it this way, but hey, it's Friday and it's a special day for me. So let's get started. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you. And nice yellow. I think yellow, right?
Yes. So different way. The topic is, you asked me to talk about day in the life of a CISO.
Yes.
And like I said, I've been very busy, so I haven't really had time to prepare a proper presentation. But I thought I'll take it literally and do it the way I would normally do it. So here's my notes and the
Very
structure
nice.
to my talk. So I'm going to talk about my background, what I do, and also why CISO role matters. And just a bit about me.
Please.
Let me get the slide right. Yeah. So my name is Tani Sims, and I'm the managing director for Meta Defense Labs, UK and Sri Lanka. We got two offices here in UK, in London, Canary Wharf at level 39. And we got an office in Sri Lanka as well, in Colombo. I've got a team of
International
people working
company.
there remotely. Oh, we're a small startup, but yes, we're getting there slowly. And if you are wondering what my accent is, I'm Sri Lankan originally. I've been in the UK for a long time now. Came here to do my degree in computer science and graduated and started my career in IBM as IBM engineer. And I worked my way up to becoming, well, it started in service, so it was a lot of technology involved, IBM servers, blade centers, flex systems, and started building solutions, architecturing solutions, and also specializing in systems management, VMware, Citrix, virtualization. That was the time when everyone was going virtual. and I was involved in a lot of data center migration projects as well. And then gradually specializing to more focus on security side of things, because some of the frustrations I've had along my career is the last 17 years that security was the QA item for a lot of projects. You know, you finish a project and then let's do a pen test to see if it's working. So that's kind of why we started Meta Defense Labs. I co-founded it, and initially as a pen testing company, and this is after I left IBM, and then I kind of started consulting to companies in the City of London, multinational companies, and then formed Meta Defense Labs in 2015. We are specialized in cybersecurity and IT infrastructure, helping organization to be cyber resilient. We are also an UK government authorized Cyber Essentials certification body and ISME certification body. Talk about that in a bit. So we help clients to be cyber resilient. And I also got a PowerPoint presentation. So I'll switch to that now. So I just wanted to take on a different approach, because then you don't get bored by my slides.
Are you in the office?
I'm in the home office.
Home office, okay.
Yes, I also wanted to actually take a moment to remind everyone about what we are going through right now with the pandemic. There's a lot of people dying. I think it's gone beyond 33,000 right now in the UK. So just be mindful of that and stay at home and take precautions, because any ignorant things that we do can affect somebody's life. So do you see my slides?
Yes.
Cool. So like I said, these are some of the services that we offer, mainly around cybersecurity, professional training, and secure infrastructure. Our bread and butter is, secure infrastructure. That's our background from, and what we also do professional training, which we do that for companies around in Asia and UK. Cybersecurity mainly around how do you build resilience. We don't focus on specific services, but we try to help become your trusted partner and trusted security partner to help you around your cybersecurity problems. Some of the ways that we approach. So these are some of the certifications that companies can go through. You probably have heard of ISO 27001, which is a global standard. Cyber Essentials is a technical framework. Then Cyber Essentials Plus is the audited version of that. The ISME Gold is the alternative design for SMEs for who doesn't want to go for ISO 27001. But that's kind of what we try to look at when we want to lay the foundations correctly. And I think it's really important that you create design, secure by design solutions as well as privacy by design solutions. We've been in the market for about 5 years now, but we are making a lot of noise being a small company, especially around the community, cybersecurity community. We've been awarded quite a lot of individually as well as a company. We've been awarded some awards. And yeah, so we are a fast young team. And a little bit about CISO. This is something I am passionate about, my brand, probably some may call it. It's about how do you be a emotionally intelligent cybersecurity leader. And if you go back to my other slide, what I wanted to show you is things that I normally do. So my life is not just being a CISO. It's also about doing lots of other things. If you look at some of the things I do, yes, managing director is one of the tasks that I'm tasked with. managing the company, and I'm also a consultant. Currently, I'm working as a principal consultant with a major vendor, developing, getting involved in a very exciting project to develop a cybersecurity training platform. And that's something I started this week, and I'm really excited. And one of the reasons why I wanted to avoid PowerPoint is I've been working on a lot of PowerPoint slides, so let's do something differently. And the other thing is the virtual CISO element. If you don't know what virtual CISO is, virtual CISO stands for Chief Information Security Officer. I'm also an assessor for Cyber Essentials and ISME frameworks. I'm a ISO 27001 auditor. I'm also the founder of CISO Exec Open Give Back platform, which I'll talk about. I also volunteer for as a judge for SE Media, and also heavily involved in IC Squared activities. Me and my partner both.
You are very multi-talented.
I'd like to think so.
When you are sleeping, how many hours you are sleeping? 3 or 1?
I tried to get 8 hours sleep. I tried. I'm a night owl.
Which pills you are using? Which pills you are using? Please tell the secret behind this.
I like a lot of mind maps because my brain started to get active at really midnight. So then if I want to sleep 8 hours, then it's very difficult. So I just jot down things quickly and make notes, and then that's done. Go to sleep. And I try to get my 8 hours sleeps, minimum 6 hours. So last night I didn't get much sleep, but anyway, it's Friday, so I can sleep tomorrow.
Okay.
And
yes,
yeah, so yes, I participate in a lot of other community activities, volunteer a lot. I also speak at events like this, and I'm also a TEDx speaker. I'm going to send you links to my recent TEDx talk that I did. It's about why I do what I do. And the things I really enjoy are the CISO, that's my passion, who I am, or who I want to be. And virtual CISO opportunities. I love virtual CISO engagements with different clients. I work mainly with SMB. I do cook. I like cooking and dogs.
Oh, interesting.
My stress
You
relief.
said dogs.
I don't
It
buy.
is more than one.
Yes, my family has. We had 3 dogs, and we have now 2 dogs. One died. But yeah, I love dogs. I just can't have dogs here because there's rules in the apartment that I live in. We can't have pets. But I can't wait to have my own pet. But we do have, like, I got my 2 nephews. I call them Oscar and Teddy, Tibetan terriers. They live up to their name, terriers. But yeah, and I like cycling when I have time with my husband. And yeah, so that's kind of things I do. So I'm not just one task person. I'm all of the place. But these are some of the favorite things that I like to do. Yes. So what you see is something that I'm really passionate about, and something that I've created myself. I'm new to it. I've only started it late 2018, I think. Yes. And it's gone really well. I really enjoy it. The difference between a virtual CISO and a normal CISO is you're not a full-time employee. I don't think I can go to becoming a full-time employee anymore. I've left that career life a long time ago when I left IBM, and then I've been a consultant, and I like being having flexible working hours. I like flexibility, and I like the freedom of making my own choices, taking my own risk, and failing, and failing fast. And I can make more decisions that way. And yeah, so virtual CISO is more around the it's more around. Sorry, I'm getting messages on on my other WebEx teams, so I got distracted a bit. Sorry about that. So I like it because you get to work with different companies, different teams, different people, different technologies, and it's really interesting. So you're not bound to one place, one culture. You get to influence and work with different cultures and teams, and make a difference to their organization. And I can also engage in other activities while I'm doing this. So that's kind of why it's kind of my favorite things to do, and I'm really getting good at it. And I've developed my own program. I engage with a lot of CISOs who are very senior people in the industry. get their mentoring advice so that I can be a better person or better CISO. And yes, so if you can read my text, I don't know, sorry about the handwriting, it's not the best.
Better than mine.
So that's something that we offer in Defense Labs as we call it the CISO Exec. Some people may call it CISO on demand or virtual CISO, but it's kind of similar things. And so I can work as a virtual CISO if the company doesn't have a CISO, or we work as a CISO executive who's working alongside with the team or their CISO or the head of IT or head of security to make sure that they're doing the right things, right foundations, doing security practices they should be doing. Also, I like sharing knowledge, working with some people, and I get to stay out of politics when you get to work in different cultures. That's quite good. And also finding new ways of working is also good. And I like the fact when my clients take me out for donuts, cakes, grits, meals, and all these things. It should be the other way around, but I get my clients take me out for supper and meals, which is really nice. So the next page, let's go into challenges of the CISOs. So something that I always see is the culture and the leadership. It's always the leadership that can create the right culture. And when you don't have the right culture and leadership, your security is a fail in my eyes, because you can't really do much in terms of, even if you're a CISO who's passionate and wanting to do something, if you don't have the support from the leaders, or they are not creating the right positive culture, then it's very difficult for somebody to make a good impact. And so when I get engaged in these roles, I try to change that and look at that, understand what the culture is, what the leadership is, and the security mindset and awareness. You need to create that right mindset with the people. There's the lack of asset management. People don't know where their crown jewels are. So how do you protect them with all these threats and risks that are out there? And it's one of the main reasons, challenges I have seen. And the lack of skilled people. I call it the hiring unicorn, because you have these HR managers looking for the unicorn, in just not going beyond what the person is capable, looking at what the person is capable of, but they're just purely focusing on certifications and qualifications that they've done, but not looking at what capabilities out there. And I've seen some really badly written job descriptions where you're looking for entry-level security analyst and then asking for CISP and all these other advanced training courses. So, and also I've seen people who are looking for graduate trainee people with lots of qualifications. I mean, how does these people get these qualifications? Some of them require years of experience. So you need to make sure that when you write in job descriptions, that they are written correctly, so that they are inclusive, and that people feel like applying. And also when you're hiring people, you need to make sure that you are looking at the person's capability, their personality. Do they have the passion to learn something new? And do they have the soft skills, the human skills? Those needs to be looked at, and then give them that opportunity to develop their skills, train themselves. So that's kind of challenges. One of the main challenges I see in the industry, and that's when you hire the right people, and then you need to also make sure that you retain them. How do you keep this talent? And talent retention has been a massive challenge, because if the culture is not good, if you don't have future opportunities, people leave, people don't want to stay, and especially millennials, you need to understand what people want. Yeah. So and
sustainability is more important than hiring someone.
Yeah, and also you need to create that positive culture, otherwise people don't want to work for toxic environments. lack of diversity. You need to look at your customer base. Who are your customers? Men, women, children, people from different countries, all over the place, right? So, and if your team is from one place, one location, one gender, how are you going to serve your customer base properly? You can't. So diversity is really important to understand the different types of cyber threats, as well as your client base and the product that you're developing. In the risk management element, people don't have a risk-based approach when they're looking into IT and security, and that needs to be adapted. You need to create a proper risk management framework within your organization. And also the concept of people thinking that the CISO, whenever you hire a CISO, yes, I can transfer all my risks to the CISO. It doesn't work like that. CISO does not own the risk. The company does. And a lot of people also focus on finding that magic tech box. You know, my talk is also about that. You can listen to it. It's you know, you spend millions and millions let's finding this magic technology, ignoring the people, the process that they need to follow. So there's a huge, you know, $1 million box sitting in the back of your data center. Nobody knows how to operate it, and it's just set on default settings, and not getting the best out of it because you don't have the skilled people, you don't have the right processes for them to follow, and you're wasting money. So I think it's important that you have a people over process over tech approach when you're hiring, as well as when you're thinking about security in your company. Lack of soft skills and leadership in the CISOs and the IT and security talent pool is a massive disadvantage, because we come from tech backgrounds, and we need to be able to have that soft skills to translate a tech language into a business language. And if you don't have that skills, the risk never get escalated up to the board level. They wouldn't understand, or they think, oh, security is soccer science. I can't understand what you're talking about. Therefore, you're being ignored. And I talk so much about getting your soft skills and leadership skills up, because those are the things that is going to differentiate you when AI and these big technologies come in to replace your jobs in future, and emotional intelligence. And if you have those skills, then you can stand out from, you know, the rest of the technologies. Plus, I see technology as a commodity. You know, you may be learning some technology today, but tomorrow that technology could be outdated. So your skills, you might not use it. I've had that in the past. When I trained myself into when I got my degree, and then I did a lot of Cisco training, VMware training, Citrix training, you name it, whatever, you know. And I had to do this to learn. Sometimes some projects I get asked to design a whole solution, but I haven't got a clue about what the technology is like. So I had to go on a quick weekly training or a 2-day training just to catch up and understand the technology, how to use it, and then they apply that. And then few projects down the line, that technology has gone out of date, so it's pointless. So, but what the most valuable lesson I've learned is that the soft skills I gain out of these things. If you have that, applying and learning the technology is matter of, you know, what project you're going to be working on. Something I also taught myself was I learned about a lot of hacking, how to hack, and the forensic side of things, and also auditing all these areas. And now that I'm more into more business focused things, my hacking skills, I don't remember these things. So I have to always, you know, keep up and try to learn new things, and it doesn't work always. So that's why soft skills are so important when you're trying to go up the ladder, career ladder. I got so many people calling me, just hope you don't hear the phone ringing, so that's fine. And lack of communication skills is another element. We need to be able to communicate tech to business properly. And also something that I also wanted to highlight is when things bug me too much, I find solutions. So that's where I've created these programs. Sorry, my
So we have Bipin. Also, he is one of the security expert, and I don't know. Have you met before with Bipin? He works for Yeah, Miraj. And after you, I'm going to invite him as well. Maybe it will be a nice opportunity to meet with him, and maybe you can create collaboration. Also, I think you may contact with Megan to put these interesting certifications in your body, in your company as well.
Yeah. So, some of the things that I look at when I'm engaging in a customer, I look at cultural transformation. I just don't go into do a little piece of thing. I look at how I can create that cultural transformation to be a security aware culture, create that culture within the organizations. That means understanding the maturity levels of the organization, how mature they are when it comes to security practices, and then agreeing with them like where they want to go, what they want to do, and then somehow aligning my security strategy into their business goals, and then creating that plan, 100-day plan. So that involves staff awareness, how you manage assets, and pretty much first getting the basics in place. Something I look at is if I don't encourage my clients to go and buy the best tech box out there. I first ask them to first lay the foundations properly, have a good foundation, a risk management approach, so that once you're ready with that, then getting the other technical solutions is more effective way to do it. Otherwise, you're just having a false sense of security. CISO is kind of the other project that I work on, and it's one of the things that I'm really passionate about. So I go back to my nice slides so that you can see what it's about.
Is it open to the people who works in security in the UK, right? It's open to enroll.
It's a platform. Global platform, and can you see my screen?
Yes, very nice.
So security is a global platform. It's all about creating emotionally intelligent cybersecurity leaders, and we focus on cybersecurity empowerment and leadership. And it's an open give-back platform, training and mentoring. So we have a 5-day boot camp that we try to offer. We offer 100% scholarships to participants. So the concept is that the people this is like your bridging platform to get into cybersecurity or in any cyber savvy, to becoming a cyber savvy leader. So we teach them all the basics around cybersecurity domains, leadership, personal development, soft skills, emotional intelligence. And the next one, we are going to be planning to go virtual because of the pandemic. And we are planning to offer about 50 scholarships to people who wants to apply for a 5-day virtual boot camp. This is, and that's happening in July. Why Wing CISO is because we know there's a skill gap, 4 million skill gap globally in cybersecurity itself, according to ISC Squared research, and then the diversity gap and the leadership gaps that is out there, and that's why I've created this platform to create a supportive community, a safe place for people to come in, get mentoring, share knowledge, find job opportunities, and also work opportunities. So we talked about diversity of gender, privilege, neurodiversity, and then the leadership gaps, and also cybersecurity skill gaps. Our mission, and this is the advisory panel that we work with. And this the structure. We have this 5-day bootcamp mentoring course, quarterly meetups. This was our last bootcamp we held in Sri Lanka. We offered up to 100% partnership to people who wants to get into cybersecurity. And some of our meetups, we had a meetup in Colombo and London, Tech UK meetup, as well as we carry out mentoring calls every third Tuesday of the month. You can join. Anyone's free to join and listen to and network with these leaders. So the next meetup is next week, Tuesday. And
If it's possible, could you, sorry to interrupt you, if it's possible, could you share some links from the chat and the people?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, please.
Sure, yeah. So, and then for International Women's Day, we celebrated it with lots of great female leaders in the industry. We did a lot of talks. I will do the links to listen to these talks. We are a very casual, friendly community, so anyone's welcome to join us and work with us. You can also collaborate, become a sponsor or donate, a host or volunteer. You can speak. You can apply to speak as well. We will be calling out for applications and speaker applications this week. Hopefully, when I get some time, I need to publish the Eventbrite page. I will share with you all, so you can apply for the scholarships as well for the next boot camp. And we have quarterly meetups now. It's gone virtual, so a lot of things are happening virtually. And these are some of the links that you can connect us with. If I go back to stop sharing this and
So I will share your links with our all attendees who are not able to join this event. Also, we will share this recording on YouTube and also our LinkedIn website.
For some reason, I can't share the message links on here on the chat. I just tried it. It's not letting me see it, but can. I'll send it to you, then maybe you can share it. The other way you can is I'm on LinkedIn, so you can follow me. And there will be a lot of details around that. So what qualifies as a good security or a CISO is, first of all, be a good human being. Nobody wants to work with assholes. So it's about getting your skills and team building skills up so that you work with other people. Emotional intelligence is a really good soft skill to have. It's not something you're born with. You can develop those skills. You can learn about emotional intelligence. It's about how you become self-aware and also self-management. How do you manage your emotions? Social awareness. How can you put yourself in somebody else's shoes so you can understand things better? And also relationship management. A lot of the problems at workplace happen because of toxic cultures and people's egos and attitudes. And if you can, yeah, so if you can train yourself to understand these things, emotions, and not be emotional, I think it helps everyone. And good understanding of business information and security risk is important. Understanding the bigger picture of what you're trying to do. I quite like it that way. For me, I can't go down rabbit holes without seeing the big picture. So that's kind of how I work. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to share this. This is my notes, and this is how I work during my day when I have to work with different projects. And try to be a good leader and a manager, as well as, oops, my slides are running around, sorry. And so you need to understand business vision and mission and vision well when you're a security leader, because you're trying to be the enabler to do the business properly and safely. And also CISO needs to be an enabler, not just someone who's computer says no person. So that's kind of why I think leadership is important when it comes to security. You should think of yourself or consider yourself as a leader, because we are leaders in everything we do, and your job title does not matter to be a good leader. I think I covered some of these. So let me go into the next slide. So if you want to get in touch with CISO, info@CISOexec.org. That's a website. We are on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, as well as Facebook. Yeah, and YouTube as well. So you can connect with us, apply for a scholarship. I will be sharing, if you email us, then we'll be sharing the link to apply for scholarships. You can also apply to be a speaker. It's a 5-day boot camp. We'll be covering everything around basics to cybersecurity. Consider this as your bridging platform. If you are not sure where to start, if you want to get into cybersecurity career, if you don't know where to start, this is where you can start. This is the bridging platform. And why? Because this is what I would have given my younger self. And that's why I think this is the best platform to be in, because it comes out of my own frustrations and then I created it.
It's a wonderful opportunity who wants to be in security, and it's a very good opportunity. Bootcamp.
Yeah, and so it's not just focusing on technology or security itself, but it also goes on to how you write your CVs, how you write to talk to a mentor. You get one-to-one mentoring as well. It's very interactive, and we also provide monthly mentoring after that. Further training, we've signed up with EC Council they are also providing further scholarships to people who perform well in the bootcamp. And also, this is an opportunity to meet your future employers as well, where a lot of leaders are going to be talking at this event, and we have created environments where you can directly talk to these people, whereas you would normally get that opportunity and get their advice. And also, we are working with CISOs to create apprenticeship opportunities as well as different work, plans that you can try out. So yeah, so that's kind of why we want to create this community. And it's not a local community, it's a global community. So I always say, think as a global citizen. You're not the field we are in, we don't have to be in one physical location. We can be global, and the work we do, all we need is internet connection and a computer. So there's nothing if you look at it, you shouldn't be thinking that you're being limited by geographic location that you're based in. There's a lot of things that you can do, especially in cybersecurity. And this is the CISO plan. I'm not going to go through this too much because we are running out of time, I understand. And I'm also going to jump on another meeting. Yes, there's quite a few. One last message I would give you is for business owners, if you don't have a security officer, think about getting a security officer or virtual CISO. You can't have your IT teams doing security. It has to be separated, otherwise it's conflict of interest. So when you hire or think of hiring a CISO, think about that and think how you can enable that person to do a better job. And also, if you're a CISO, think like an entrepreneur, because you're going to be part of an organization who you're going to be helping to execute their vision and mission. So if you don't think like an entrepreneur, or if you think like an employee, you're just going to be you're doing the computer says no kind of job. But if you think beyond what your job description is, I think that's what people want in this industry. Someone who can think out of the box. Who can take ownership, who can take the lead, be accountable for things. And there's quite a lot I wanted to talk about. I think we are short of time, so I'm not going to go too much. Clear communication is key, and if you don't have that skill, I think everyone should invest in communication skills. I still learn a lot of things every day because that's where things can go wrong if we don't communicate. And yeah, I'll end it with this small cartoon. So if you're hiring a CISO or looking for a CISO, and if you're trying to be a CISO, don't think you own the risk. You don't. And so people, CEOs or board people who think, who are in cloud nine, I'd say, think that yes, I can transfer all my risk to the CISO and not worry about it. That's not going to happen because business owns the risk. CISO does not. CISO is there to make sure that you're doing what you're doing safely and securely to protect your business. And you need to enable them to do their job best. And if you can't be bothered with any security, I always say at least consider Cyber Essentials, which is a very basic framework. It gives you the foundations to getting your security hygiene or maturity levels started. And it's it's a small certification. There's 2 ways. I help these clients quite a lot in terms of cybersecurity, and once you get that in, then you can see the benefits. Cybersecurity, Cyber Essentials alone, if you apply it correctly, you can protect your business 80% of your business. Protect your business from 80% of the internet-based attacks. So it's very effective, but you need to apply it correctly. So if you want any help with that, I'm happy to help. I've just done 8 Cyber Essentials audits this week. Failed about 5 people, 5 companies. It's difficult, but once you get that, then you can be very proud of. And thank you. And if there's any questions, do let me know.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jenny. I would like to invite Bipin also. He's very good at, I think, security, and I hope you will create good collaboration with him. And thanks again. And let me invite
Thank you very much.
Bipin. It was very nice to see you again. Bipin, would you like to join us?
Yes, I was just enabling my webcam, and yeah, there I am. Am I audible?
Yes.
I think the sun's coming in, so a little bit, but I guess that's okay. We'll have to deal with that.
Okay. Are you able to share?
Yes, I will. Where's the? No, I'm not able to share right now. The sharing. Yeah, I'm now the presenter.
Yes,
So I'm
coming.
actually able to share my screen, and I'm going to share my screen once.
Have you had any chance to watch Chinese TEDx speech?
No, I haven't. I would definitely want to connect with her, and I'll look up her speeches on TEDx. She gave a very good, interesting overview of what she's attempting. The CISO movement looks really good, and I would definitely want to connect with her.
Yes, I've just shared her LinkedIn and YouTube and everything. She is brilliant.
Thank you for that. I'm trying to
Yes.
go into
Sorry, we kept you waiting, but because of the social distancing rules, we have to put some 2 meters.
Yeah, thank you, Cumhur, for having me here. It's been a very lovely session. I've been listening to all these guys talking about how the certifications would work and how people should place themselves in the market. And I would like to add my 2 bits to that, of course. I mean, let's see how we go. So thank you for having me here. And just a question, is the screen visible in the full screen mode?
Yes, okay. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. So let me give you a background about me and the company that I work with. My name is Bipin Kulkarni. You can see that on the screen there. I am a Chief Information Security Specialist / a CISO with Gemraj Technologies. We essentially are a SOC as a service provider. We have a security operations center that we provide to organizations where they can have it on-prem themselves, or we can handle it for them, and does have quite a bit of experience with the SOC. And what I've seen so far is a gap between skill sets, certifications, and understanding of what a SOC should be or what a SOC is, right? So Jamie, Alistair, and Megan have been giving us insights about what kind of certifications to go for, how organizations look at applications. What I would like to cover from my part is how do applicants themselves prepare themselves to apply for specific job roles, right? And if we are more aware about where our career should be and what we want to achieve, and if we try to accomplish that, that gives us a better understanding of how we would position in the market and how we would apply for certain job roles. For example, in a SOC, if we understand what a SOC is all about, and if we talk about uh, what are the key words that a SOC analyst should have, the key certifications that they should be compliant with. And that is where most of your applications would be focused, and thus it would be easier for you and the other agencies, if you will, to identify the potential people applying for these roles and get that. So what I want to cover over here is basically a startup, a little bit of overview of what a SOC is, what a SOC is supposed to do, and then map it up with what a SOC analyst role would be. And the reason for this is uh, when I myself look at SOC, and if I look at hiring people, I see that gap coming in where people who may not be aligned with a SOC are applying for a job position that they may not excel at or may lack certifications in, and thus the presentation that I'm making. Uh, so I think, okay, there was a gray box over there. So what is a SOC? A SOC, I mean, to begin with, a security operations center. This becomes the centralized function of an organization where we are handling the day-to-day security aspects of that particular company, right? This will encompass everything: people, processes, technologies. It will it's basically about monitoring all your networks, devices, appliances, anything and everything that an organization has identified as an asset, and you want to maintain the security posture at this point in time, right? So if you look at the certifications that we have, and if we have been talking about Cisco, we have been talking about Cisco Meraki, we have been talking about cybersecurity, and this is where things get a little bit dicey. Uh, and I think there was a question earlier whether neutral vendor neutral certifications are better or more valuable compared to generic certifications, right? Or to specific certifications. The problem here is if you look at vendor neutral certifications, they are not specific to a vendor, which means that they basically embed the concept of how that particular function works. So if I go for a security analyst neutral vendor neutral certification, it's basically going to tell me about how the security analyst job role is. But then when I apply for a job and then the company comes back to me and says, hey, we use Cisco devices, or do you know how to utilize them, or do you know how to analyze them? That is where the gap starts coming in. So I would say the combination of both these certifications is going to be useful. Understand the concept by having a vendor neutral certification, and then identify the devices or the networks that the company that you're going to work with has, and get those certifications. Thus becoming uh, uh, more relevant to that particular job, right? So just trying to move the next slide here. There. So this is what a SOC is basically attempting to do: identify all the assets. So survey your assets, e-discover them, have a map of which devices you have, maybe servers, endpoints, uh, mobile devices, and so on and so forth. So once you have that, you are going to monitor these devices, create logs for in each and every event that has been happening, uh, create them, store them in a centrally located place, and then analyze them. So that's where a SOC comes into the picture, having identified all those assets, monitoring all these assets in a continuous manner, creating logs on all these devices, right? These logs are going to be your window in analyzing what's going on, what security events may have happened, and thus gives you a root cause analysis or a option of a root cause analysis to see what's been going on, right? A SOC would also be uh, involved with doing preventative maintenance, which means installing security patches or doing a vulnerability assessment and a penetration testing audit, and looking for insider threats, looking for external threats, and helping overall the security structure of an organization. Right? If we look at the main aspect of what a SOC does, and that's incident management. So this diagram basically gives you an insight about the stages in a SOC lifecycle: the discovery phase, the preliminary investigation, triaging, extended investigation, and the response. Now, if this is the basic life cycle of an incident, we want to map where a SOC analyst would be positioned, what kind of skills would they have, what technologies that they want to focus upon, and what kind of certifications would they look at, right? For example, if you look at discovery, Discovery could be an automated process based on certain devices or certain softwares that you're utilizing, or could be based on UBA, user behavior analysis, or protocol analysis, right? You could use IDS, IPSS at this point in time. You could use a security uh, incident and event management tool to identify those events, use artificial intelligence or machine learning implemented in this, right? And then when these devices start creating alerts, that's where your preliminary investigation comes into the picture, and you start analyzing what actually happened and what went wrong. So the linkings, the scoring of it. So identifying which devices were affected, uh, scoring based on the criticality of that vulnerability, merging multiple vulnerabilities together or multiple incidents together, doing a root cause analysis of it, scoping it out, and then basically triaging it and then moving on from there. So if you look at a security operations center analyst role, right, this person is an assurance expert who will examine the networks, applications, infrastructure, and digital communication. So if you look at it from a perspective, a SOC analyst role is not an administrative role, so you don't need to look at these devices of how to implement them and how to manage them. You want to look at how these systems behave, what events are happening on a regular basis, align them with the security policies of an organization, and compare whether there are any anomalies of these devices or within these devices, right? Uh, this would include vulnerability analysis, may include configuration analysis of devices, will include log management, and once you have these identified, you would be in a position to respond to them. Thus, the remediation and mitigation procedure coming into the picture, right? For being a SOC analyst, there is a huge necessity of having experience, of having a real world experience or exposure, if you will, in these technologies, and be certified amongst them. So if you map it up with the talks that we have had from Megan or Alistair, from Hayes, uh, or even Ali when he pointed out about the Cisco certifications, right? So as an analyst, you basically want to identify which devices are being utilized, which softwares are being utilized, understand the concepts, and then try to get these certifications, right? So uh, it's better that you, apart from these, you also be conversant in tools that analyze uh, these areas, such as Wireshark, or having a protocol analyzer, a network analyzer, log parsers, and getting your hands on these kind of tools as well. A lot of organizations do offer free trials or free versions of their tools. So apart from just certifications, it's very necessary that you get your hands on these products as well. The technical skills that you would require in this area, it's basically good knowledge about web applications. So it's not about coding, it's about understanding secure coding. So the cyber secure coding, I think there was a course that Megan talked about. Now here, developers also can benefit where they can learn standard coding practices so that their applications may be more secure when they code itself. But as a SOC analyst, I would also want to understand these secure coding practices so that I can look out for these vulnerabilities when the application is being deployed, right? If you look at system administration, you don't want to excel in installing those or managing those. You want to understand the process of how systems are managed, and thus you are able to identify the pain points and the weaknesses in those administration procedures, and thus enable monitoring of these areas and analyzing if there is anything negative happening over there, right? So threat identification and intelligence. A SOC analyst should know what are the latest threats that organizations or industries or applications or devices are facing. They should have a threat intelligence feed coming in where all of these latest vulnerabilities or exploits, if you will, have been identified, and thus they have latest knowledge about how things are progressing in the security world. They should also if they're in web application security, they should also look at debugging skills, programming and scripting. We have talked about PHP a little bit earlier on in one of the talks. So having these scripting skills allow you to automate scripts or automate tasks that will help you analyze uh, certain data points and thus give you more insight about how the security posture of the organization is, right? Now, when we look at threat identification, it can also be assessed from a factor where you're analyzing the current security posture of an organization by analyzing the current security controls implemented, could be administrative controls, logical controls, or technical controls. And then you're analyzing how they've been configured, how they have been, which kind of risks they are monitoring. And based on that, you can identify the current threats an organization may face, thus creating more analytical patterns that will help you uh, analyze the current data structure that you are utilizing. These are some of the technical skills. Now, it is near about impossible to have all of these skills or be an expert with all of these skills, and that is where your career options come into the picture. So this is where individuals stop and think, you know what, where do I want to be, and what is my strength at this point in time? Am I good at databases? Am I good at web applications? Am I good at programming? So do I want to become a secure coder? Or am I looking at operating systems? So do I want to go into host-based security or endpoint security, networking and routing? That's where your CCNA, CCNP, CCIE courses come into the picture. Firewalls, there are Cisco firewalls uh, that you can utilize. I mean, if you look at it, there are so many firewalls in the market, right? So how would you decide which firewalls would you want to look at? So the vendor neutral courses that come into the picture, that gives you an idea of what kind of firewalls are available, what should your strategy be, architecture of firewalls, and then your specific courses where you're going with Cisco firewalls or Palo Alto or Sophos or any of these organizations, right? And then comes the SIEM, the Security Information and Event Management tools. We've got a lot of them. Oxide, we got uh, I forget the names on top of my head.
QRadar, IBM QRadar.
IBM QRadar, yep. Or you can come to Gemraj. We also have a good SIEM tool that we can provide. And yeah, so these softwares, these come into the picture, and if you want to utilize them, that's where your certifications are, where you've understood how these things are implemented, and then you want to operate them. So any and all of these skills would be welcome skills as far as SOC analyst is concerned. Understand that you're not implementing databases or applications or operating systems. You have the skills of analyzing them by looking at patterns, by looking at events, by looking at logs, and identifying patterns that would help you or that will help the organization identify something wrong happening, something maybe an insider threat where somebody is trying to gain access to something that there should not be, or some data coming from outside to the organization where you have identified based on protocol analysis that somebody is looking at a port scan or somebody's trying to use an exploit to get access to some of your networking devices, right? So these are some of the skills that you might want to possess. These skills need to be mapped to technologies, right? Now, it's not only necessary that I know how operating systems work or how applications are deployed. If those applications are deployed on IoT, right? Or if they're on a cloud compared to an on-prem. And if, I mean, even in cloud, you would have public, private, and hybrid deployments, right? You've got virtualization in networks as well. So NFV comes into the picture. You also want to excel at these technologies, right? So when I approach a SOC role, I first want to know what technology do I want to focus on. Let's say on-prem data center or a cloud-based data center, maybe public or private, or I'm looking at organizations that mainly deal with IoT. We have got edge computing coming in as we speak. So I map all these skills with the technology. Based on that technology, I identify what tools and softwares will be utilized, and then try to get ourselves certified on these technologies and technical skills. Once we have achieved that, this would give us the keywords that would be associated with our skill sets. So let's say if you're applying for a job, you can have keywords saying, okay, I'm experienced in IoT, I've got web application experience, security support, and I can deal with cryptography on IoT. And when you use these kind of keywords, it would be easier for organizations to find you, map you to a particular job profile, and then call you in for an interview. Certifications that give you not only the capability of being qualified for a job, the training associated with that certification would also give you the knowledge of cracking that interview as well. So that's where your knowledge comes into the picture, and thus you want to look at how you want to practice and how you want to get hands-on on these particular utilities. So when you want to go into this field, right? And when I say field, we have terms like cybersecurity, we've got penetration testing, we've got vulnerability assessments, then we got the SOC role that we just discussed. The thing is that we first want to identify our own strong points, right? We want to identify the skills that we are good at, concentrate on those skills, and evolve our practice over there, right? Understand the fact that, I mean, it would take a really long time to achieve all of these skills. Maybe that's your career path. As you go ahead, you can enhance your skill sets in each and every different area that you have. But I would say you identify which those areas that you're good at, start getting certified on those, maybe even vendor neutral or vendor specific certifications, and then you start applying for those jobs and then look at career scaling up as you go ahead. Real world experience obviously matters. Organizations look at people who have experience, but then comes the part that if I'm a fresher, where do I get the experience from? Uh, there are a lot of platforms out there that offer these kind of experiences where you can, let's say, you can just create a cloud account, start deploying, and start testing your skills on a public cloud like AWS or Microsoft Azure. Does practice, and more practice. That's something that you want to look at, right? Understand this is the security world, so it does require a lot of patience. Uh, it requires a lot of what you can say skill sets which cannot be acquired immediately. It does take its own time. Uh, for example, CCIE, when you're going to target that, I've seen people who get crack it in 6 months. I've seen people who would take at least 2 years, but that's where the patience comes into the picture. They keep on focusing on what they want to achieve. They keep on practicing what they want to achieve, and over a period of time, they reach that particular space. So once you have these achieved, the focus, you have identified where you want to head, you can then map yourself to the technologies and the technical skills that you want to adhere to, and then move on with the SOC role. Right. So in a nutshell, that's what I wanted to cover. I'm sorry if I'm looking at I'm hurrying through this. The thing is that we're already out of time. I've got a couple of calls after this meeting, so please don't take me wrong. But Cumhur will give you my details. I'm on LinkedIn. You can just get in touch from there. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them right now or later on as well.
Thank you very much, Bipin. It was nice to see you again. And also, SOC SOC centers are very important. Also, as Channing mentioned, you can buy every product, but if you cannot invest in people, and if you cannot monitor and control, and it won't give real confidence and real security in your environment. If you want to invest in technology, first start with the people, invest in the people. And after you will realize which equipment is useful for you, and it will create more sustainable process in your company.
Definitely, I agree with you.
Am I right?
Yes, even as an organization, if I want to look at how best my services are being provided, I need to first identify the technology that I am going to be conversant with, identify the people who can deal with that technology. Just having that technology wouldn't make any difference to me if I don't have the appropriate skill set or the appropriate people dealing with that. So humans become the biggest asset of an organization, right? So when I look at a SOC analyst role, that's what the organization is investing in, that this person has the right skill set, and has the approved certification so that they can be aligned with the particular job and excel at it.
Okay, and last words. I would like to invite Chain again, if it's possible. She can turn her camera. And last question from one of our attendees, from Fatih. What are your productivity suggestions for remote working, like home officers in the this pandemic agenda?
Okay, I follow a few different steps. I'm not to this, so I've been
Sorry, can't hear her. Is that
Is there something bandwidth? Oh my God.
Okay.
And Bipin, you can continue, and we are coming.
him.
Are you coming?
She's back.
Are we doing?
Okay.
Yes. Yes, we can hear you. I think somebody is downloading something from Netflix.
So what I normally practice is have a place to work. So have a routine. Maybe think about what you're going to be doing, how you're going to plan out your week. You know, what kind of meetings you're going to have, what kind of work that you're going to be doing, and then think about what time you're going to wake up, what time you're going to sleep. That I think about, and make sure you have the 8 hours or the 7 hours minimum sleep that you require. Once you wake up, then first thing I would try and do is make my bed, change my outfit to something, and then have a wash or something, I don't know, and then go and find my desk to do the work. I sometimes do my social media while I'm on bed until I have my coffee. And after that, then I come on to my laptop. What I've done is, for me to avoid being bored at one place, staying at one place, I created 3 workspaces. Actually, I got 4 now. I got one bedroom that I've created, desk and a table, and today I am on the kitchen counter. And then I got another space outside, which I put a table and a chairs, which is comfortable when there's sun. Then I can go and sit there and work, and then the sofa. So you can move around different places like you feel okay you're doing something. So I do that, and most mornings I try and do the meetings whenever I have, and then have my breakfast, and I try to go for a walk. We allowed once a day walk, so I normally go for a 1 hour walk outside, and then that's something whenever the weather is better. That is, like, if the daytime is nice and sunny, then you go during the daytime. If it doesn't make a difference, then I go in the evenings. But I used to go for like 11 o'clock walk, try and come back and then pick up on things, have my lunch. Sometimes I have brunch. I don't have lunch, and I don't have time to cook for that. And then around 4 o'clock, I then sometimes cook something, and then have our meals around 5 o'clock. And then after that, a bit of TV, and then work again. So I normally work till late, till about midnight. But then again, in the evenings, then I can just one place. And if I go for walks, then I go for the walk in the evening to do any shopping or anything. When there's less people, I try and go out and get things done. And yeah, and that's kind of why I normally how I plan my day. In terms of meetings, I think it's important that you plan certain type of work at certain times. So if you're doing team meetings and things like that, it's easy to get distracted. So you can have things like that during that time. But if you want to focus on one thing, like really doing a presentation or a talk, I normally put that to a time where I don't get too many disturbances. And I also work on my my digital pad, which doesn't have any distraction, social media distraction. So you keep your phone away, your laptop away, and all your notes in here, and then you transfer it to the laptop when you need it. So that works really well for me, so that I can focus on things, and I can download my books and whatever I read to the same thing, and then
Is it Kindle or is it Kindle?
No,
or what's the brand?
it's remarkable.
I saw the name in your notes. Okay, okay, it will be very nice to know.
It's the best tool I've ever had. I take all my notes, like you get rid of your notepads and pens. You just have one notepad and your pen, and then you work on that. And you can file all your scribbles, the notes, paintings, anything, and then digitize it and then send it to the laptop. And that really helps me to organize my things. And I use Trello to prioritize my tasks and assign activities for my team, so they know what to do and when it's due and all that. We also use Google checklist sometimes, but with this, it also gives me the checklist sometimes. So I think a lot of the distractions can be from your social media and messaging, people messaging. So when you focus on one thing, you just make sure that you close the other chat channels, because I got Slack and WhatsApp and Telegram, Hangout, whatever. It's just too much distraction sometimes. So so for example, if you're working on one project, have that chat open and nothing else. And so that way you are more focused on getting things done. And also focus on doing 20-minute tasks. So I can't sit in one place for too long. So 20 minutes, you do that work, and then you go break and have a drink or whatever, and then you come and do that. Water, drinks, keep yourself hydrated is important. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I normally focus, try to get things
Thank you
done.
very
But
much.
yeah.
I would like to give the chance to explain his situation to Bipin, but I would like to say to you, you are very good role model for the ladies, girls who wants to be in cybersecurity and IT, because as you mentioned diversity, we care diversity, and also I'm working in Skills and Diversity Commission Tech UK. We have to create more diverse environment, more girls and more other nationalities and other genders. You know, thank you very much for being with us. And Bipin, what would you like to add?
I would agree with you. I mean, we've got so few women in cybersecurity, and it would be a great platform that she's promoting, where we get women interested in cybersecurity. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's always been thought of a man's world till a few years back, and I have no idea why. Because I mean, if you look at security, it's more about organization, and women are actually very good at it than men. So
I agree with you.
Thanks.
Maybe you will be one of Bipin. You will be maybe one of mentor in CISO.
yeah, definitely. I'll connect with Shani if you don't mind if I do that.
Please do. And I mean, if you look at the logo, she CISO is SNH capital, so that means she and he both, and that's why we created that way. So it's a very inclusive environment, and it's a safe place to anybody to come and talk to us, mentor, connect with people. And if you have articles, like you've written good articles and things, you know, we can also share these things, and we have a lot of speaking opportunities as well in the platform. And if you're really good at some technology, or if you're really good at a specific skill, reach out to us and we can record some sessions and put it out there to share your knowledge. I mean, it's all about how you promote people to build their eminence.
Okay, thank you very much. Ali, would you like to add something? If are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How is going your life? Are you able to cope with this situation? And also, are you preparing for third CCA certification? You know, you are holding two.
Yeah, this pandemic and staying at home is a bad thing. You know, the overall thing is bad, but staying at home and spending time on projects or working on your journey is another thing that you can do. But at the same time, you should keep yourself motivated. And to do that, I'm working on some advanced Python skills, and I just wrote some different softwares. But for third CCIE, you know, the last time I took the exam, I failed on DC and data center, and now for Me, I think it's enough for CCIE. 2 CCIE is enough. Yeah. And you know about my journey, that was a little bit complicated.
Yeah. I'm sure your journey also will give more inspiration and motivation to others. If it's possible, could you give 3 minutes about your journey, and after that we are going to close our session because we passed very.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, my journey, as I said, was a little bit complicated. I started my journey in 1996 when I was 15. Okay, after I broke my Commodore 65 to find out what's inside, and after that, it's normal. It doesn't work again. You know. So make this story short, I started with C language, and from the operating system side, I started learning Microsoft NT and Novel Network. And I built my first network to share files in the back-to-back fashion at that moment. Okay. Then I started to pursue my MCSE certification on Windows 2000 at that moment, and I built my home lab, which contains 2 PC with 2 large LG 17 inches, very large monitors. And you can imagine how was my table at that moment. Okay. After that, I felt that I need more excitement in networking. So I started my Cisco career in 2002, and I learned a lot from Cisco documentation CDs. Yes, at that moment, Cisco documentation has 2 beautiful CDs, you know, which I got as a gift from one of my friends. I go through the certification program and I got my CCNP, CCDP, and CCIP. After that, I felt that I'm ready for CCIE exam. I did lots of study and practice, and I read line by line of the Cisco documentations based on the CCIE lab exam blueprint. In 2009, I took the exam and I failed. In 2010, I took the exam and failed again. In 2011, I failed again. And 2012, failed again. I was
Sorry.
yeah, I was too much tired, but I didn't give up. So in 2018, and you know the story, I took the CCI lab exam again, and I passed the exam with your help. Also in 2019, I took the CCI security exam, and I passed that also. So the key point here is that don't give up and just forward regardless of the exam result, because this is a journey and certification and exam are just part of the journey, not the journey itself. So to learn more, you need focus and dedication. This is the secret of success.
The thing I would like to add that not everyone is geared for certifications and exams. Some people don't do well with exams. That doesn't mean they're any less qualified or they don't have the skill set. It's just that the people operate is everyone's different. Like for me, I can't sit in one place for more than 20 minutes sometimes. So imagine sitting on an exam for 6 hours. It's just it's too much.
Stressful.
Exactly. This is the right
Yeah.
way.
So you should never feel down if you fail or if you don't want to do exam. The important element is what you take out of that, this course or training, the knowledge that you carry with you, and also how you apply that to your day-to-day work.
Yes, exactly. You're right. And also the time management and everything you should manage in the moment of the exam is important, because this is not just about your knowledge. This is about the how to manage the time, how to manage your stress, how to how to control your feels in the exam. This is a lot of things that you should manage in the exam. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I would say discipline is the best way to approach these kind of scenarios. I mean, identifying what you want to achieve, how you want to achieve it, and having a structured approach towards it. Because as far as certifications are concerned, I've been doing them quite a bit. And to be honest, from my perspective, I'm a little bit tired of certifications, at least studying for them. Right. So it does happen over a period of time. But uh, with new technology, since everything is always evolving, uh, I guess we just have to upskill ourselves and identify different ways to motivate and achieve those targets that we have.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for all.
Sorry.
Yes, please. Last words, Anthony.
Times that if you're on the spectrum or if you're a neurodiverse person, the way things work is completely different. The way you learn, the way you understand things, where you communicate, everything's different. So that's why I'm not all about certifications, because that person, if that person may not be even able to go and sit for a certification, but they will be really good at what they're doing. If you're a neurodiverse person. So employers needs to understand these things when they're hiring and give opportunities to people for their experience, the passion and the talent, rather than the amount of certifications in the back of their name.
I think most important thing is we must focus on being happy in a life. You know, if you be happy without certification and in your life, and you can choose it this way, or if you want to get this certification and that makes you more happy, go for it. You know, just try to be being happy, not getting more money. You know, if you are getting more happy, and that means you can share this happiness with your friends, and you can earn everything more than valuable money. Because we saw lots of people who got a lot of money, but they are not living with us, like Steve Jobs. You know, money cannot save your life if you are not happy and if you are not healthy. And that is the reason. Thank you very much for all. And I would like to say big thank you very much to all speakers and all attendees for being with us in this webinar. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope we will continue with more different subjects with Chani, Bipin, Ali, and other speakers as well. I would like to say take care of yourself and your loved ones, and have a great weekend. Thank you very much. See you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
See you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.